Book It!
Welcome to Book It Wrestling Podcast, where we play our theme song twice and book and rebook and revisit your favorite wrestling storylines. I'm your commissioner, Lil X Fudge, and today we are here with your GMs, Damone, D Money, the motherfucker who plays the song twice.
I just hit the button.
Fuck him. The bad guy, Kenny.
Oh yeah!
We didn't see you on that. Ooh yeah. Give us one more.
Do it again.
Oh yeah!
There we go.
Not enthusiasm this time. Fuck
yeah,
y'all.
you spent it already. And then we got Hi-Fi Mike on his about 8th
Party
return.
on, Garth.
Looking for his dog.
And then for
We lost it again.
a re-return, the first return, returning to Book It is Travvy T.
Okay, I wasn't sure which one you were going with. It could have applied.
You're
to
not
any more
using-
show.
Mike.
You're not using studio mode.
It's not. It's fucking annoying.
And returning to Book It for the first time, that is M. Joeb sipping some mystery beverage.
Hello, it's water.
That is a weird-ass can of water.
Water from a can is crazy. Like, I can't.
I like water.
Ew!
I can't do it.
It's
Liquid
To
death
be
is
fair,
really good.
It's
I didn't
caffeinated
realize-
water.
I didn't
Caffeinated
That's
realize
water.
crazier
liquid
than
death was water.
It is 9:38, sir.
What about it?
Why are you drinking caffeinated water?
Because
Go to
he's
bed.
getting ready for a Travvy T Bookiverse show, baby. Let's
Stay up
go!
until like 2. What are you talking about?
Cracking open a can of water is hilarious.
Energy
I'm opening a
water
can of
is
water
fucking
on
It's
your
the
bitch
sparkling
ass.
ices.
Yeah, I know it.
Anyways.
I know what it is. I
Alright,
drink
tell 'em
shit
what we're
like
doing,
that,
John.
just without the
Tell him
caffeine.
what we're doing.
Straight edge Steve Austin. Go ahead.
Hey, you call me straight edge? I got a bottle of bourbon right here.
There you go. Be a man.
Put that in the water. What are we
You're not
doing?
allowed to drink that. Your team failed.
That's why there's still some left.
Yeah, no drinking on the job. Stop sucking balls. You see how he's fondling that ball?
What?
Just give it a little-
Yeah, let's move
I
on.
don't
This
know
is
how we got
crazy.
here.
Well, that's how I get
Yeah.
y'all to transition the goddamn show. Continuing, this is finally the return of the Book It verse. And with that, we are on the path to finishing round 1 of Book It verse 5. And you are in for a Travvy T special. So for those of you who are fans of the show and know what that means, know that you are in for some in-depth content, multiple parts. And this is for real fans of wrestling. So
That's right.
if you can't handle a long show, fuck you.
0.5.
Fuck you. You're weak. Your
I
bloodline
am
is
weak as shit. Let's go.
weaker than a Jey Uso neck breaker. But continuing on. Tell us about your company, your show, and all of that. And for the next few weeks, we are going to be immersed in your world. So take it from here.
All right. So my company is called King of Combat, KOC
Cut,
for short.
cut,
It is
cut.
owned by Brazilian billionaire Arturo Huas, and this is the 2nd season. I think everything else will be explained in my little opening package. We discussed this off air that I'm running a tournament in mine. So like to save me repeating the same thing that is good because the tournament's gonna branch off a bunch of stories. So instead of me saying the same open for every story, I'm gonna say my opening for the tournament, which is not gonna be graded, and then go into my first story. So anything with the tournament would start with this initial thing. Arturo Huas opens the Season 2 opener of KOC Clash with a video message. We see the Brazilian billionaire sitting behind his executive desk wearing an emerald green velvet suit with gold jewelry and accessories and gold-framed aviator sunglasses on. Huas is smoking a cigar, leaning back in his chair. As the camera closes in on him, Huas leans forward, ashes the cigar, and begins to speak. Since its inception, KOC has had but only one King of Combat. The ace, Hiroshi Tanahashi, has ruled over KOC with dominance and diplomacy. Tanahashi is one of the great wrestlers of our day, a fact he proved time and time again, defending the King of Combat title against any and all comers. Tanahashi won the King of Combat title in the inaugural Coliseum of Combat match. 8 men, 6 sides of steel, but only one King of Combat. Hiroshi Tanahashi survived against the likes of Nikita Koloff, Kazuchika Okada, Seth Rollins, Jey Uso, El Santo, Mike Quackenbush, and Dustin Rhodes inside the steel structure.
One of those things is not like the other.
The Ace defended his title against the show stealer, Ric Flair. Tanahashi earned his place against the measuring stick of the wrestling industry, Lou Thesz. Then he survived a very personal and brutal blood feud with Magnum TA. Finally, last Saturday at Kingdom Come, Hiroshi Tanahashi waged a war of violence against the former King of Violence himself, Jon Moxley. Nobody has embodied the fighting spirit of KOC as much as the Ace, Hiroshi Tanahashi, has. Taking on anyone who rose to challenge his crown, Tanahashi has made the King of Combat title one of the most prestigious titles in the world today, bringing in countless competitors seeking the title for their personal collections. So tonight, I am pleased to announce that I have collected 16 of the fiercest warriors that will face off in combat until only one remains. All 16 men... Oh, I lost my part. All 16 men fight for the opportunity to face Hiroshi Tanahashi for the King of Combat Championship at Coronation. The tournament begins next week, and the finals will conclude at No Remorse. The matchups are as follows. Blue Panther versus Carmelo Hayes. Killer Cross versus Taz. Mitsuharu Misawa versus Josh Alexander. Samoa Joe versus Powerhouse Hobbs. Alex Shelley versus John Cena. Nick Aldis versus Jay White. Bam Bam Bigelow versus Bobby Lashley. And finally, Seth Rollins versus Matt Cardona. To the 16 combatants in this tournament, I wish you Godspeed. For the Ace Hiroshi Tanahashi, I thank you for the amount of yourself that you have poured into KOC. Now may the best man be the King of Combat. Alright, I don't know if y'all want to say anything about that or if you want me to just move on to my next match.
Yes.
Thank you.
Wait, can I ask a question?
You can.
El Santo, is that Santos Escobar or who is that?
No, he's a really famous, probably the most famous luchador of all time. He was in the 60s.
I was gonna say he's probably the GOAT of Mexican wrestling.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
I do have Santos Escobar, though, on my roster. Okay. So, jumping right into the first match. After the conclusion of the first season of KOC and the first ever Kingdom Come PLE, Wednesday Night Clash is buzzing as Season 2 brings new challengers and new challenges. The former bringing in a fresh face for the women's division, the Russian doll Natalia Markova. An arrival that fellow Russian Masha Slamovich anxiously awaits. Masha Slamovich has been embroiled in a feud with psychological warfare at the hands of Rosemary. Masha was pushed to the brink of insanity, but in the end was able to overcome the Wicked Witch and get victory in a brutal casket match. Backstage on the first episode of Clash for KOC Season 2, the debutante Natalia Markova is seen talking to some KOC staff members as Masha Slamovich approaches. Masha tells Natalia that she's so happy to have another strong Russian woman here in KOC, and together they can show the world that Russia is here to stay in professional wrestling. Natalia thanks Masha for the warm welcome, and Masha tells her that she has her back because Russian women must stick together. The next week on Clash, Natalia Markova and Masha Slamovich are paired together in Markova's debut, teaming against Amani Zuberi and Tyra May Steele of Black Lotus with Trish Adora on commentary during the match. The match begins with Tyra May Steele and Masha Slamovich. The match is pretty competitive, but Masha is carrying the weight of her team pretty significantly. Later in the match, Masha makes a desperation hot tag Natalia Markova, and Markova comes in blazing. Laying Steele down with a big missile drop kick, she kips up and nails Steele with a enziguri. Natalia Markova gets up and hypes the crowd before hitting the ropes and flattening Steele with a Thez press, followed by a flurry of punches. Markova leaps to her feet and screams out as the fans join her passionate response. But when Markova turns around, she's flattened by a body block from Amani Zuberi. Zuberi lifts Markova into the air and nails her with an Amani bomb. Steel rolls into the ring apron as Amani Zuberi military presses Markova into the air, prompting Steel to springboard off the top rope and snatch Markova from the sky with a cutter for the pin and the win. After the match, Natalia Markova lays in the center of the ring, nearly unconscious. Meanwhile, Masha stands on the apron, looking stunned and confused. The next week, we see Masha confronting Natalia backstage. What the hell was that last week? We are Russians. When we fall in battle, we get back up. Last week was a failure. And you should know that failure is never an option. We are warriors first. Follow my lead tonight. And so what happened last week doesn't happen again. Later that night, we get Masha and Natalia going head-to-head with Giselle Shaw and Jamie Hayter of the Vixens. Again, Masha sets the pace with constant offense, never letting the Vixens get an upper hand. She tags in Markova, and Markova seemingly took the advice from Masha earlier in the night. Seriously, she too is more aggressive and focused. Eventually, the cunning of the Vixens proves too much when a sly reversal puts Markova down, and the Vixens cut the ring in half, blocking Markova from her tag team partner. The Vixens brutalize Markova, never letting her reach her partner to tag out of the match. After pummeling Markova, Shaw and Hayter hit the Russian doll with a bombshell. The Giselle Shaw monkey flips Markova out of the corner, and Hayter catches her with a sit-out powerbomb for the pin and the win. Again, Masha Slamovich stands on the apron dumbfounded, with an expression painted on her face to say she cannot fathom this. The next week on Clash, Masha once again confronts Markova. Losing is not only embarrassing, it is unacceptable. We are fighting for more than ourselves, Natalia. We are here fighting for a nation. We are fighting for our motherland. This is bigger than Masha Slamovich and Natalia Markova. Don't you understand that? Tonight, you will redeem yourself to your people. Tonight, you will go against Shayna Baszler, and you will break her. There's no other acceptable option that remains.
Donkey! Sorry.
Oh god.
Masha Slamovich stares at a dejected Natalia Markova with a cold, ruthless focus. Natalia Markova lowers her head and stares and eyes to the floor as Masha stares her down. Masha walks off as Markova continues to stare at the ground, peeking fearfully from her peripheral vision. Later in the night, Masha Slamovich accompanies Natalia Markova to the ring for her match against Shayna Baszler. Markova starts the match noticeably more ruthless, kicking at the knees of Baszler at the opening bell before focusing her assault on breaking down the base of Baszler. Markova works the legs throughout the match and surprisingly has control of the match for the majority of its duration. Markova hoists Baszler up for a Samoan drop, but Baszler slips behind and locks in a Kirifuda clutch. Markova flails and tries to scramble and break the hold, but Baszler has the hold cinched in too deep. In the end, Markova has no choice but to tap out, losing to Shayna Baszler via submission. After the match, Masha Slamovich stands on the outside of the ring with a blank expression painted across her face as Natalia Markova sits her head on her knees in the center of the ring, bawling from the disappointment in her loss. A few moments pass as neither woman moves, paralyzed by the events that have just played out. Eventually, Masha pulls herself out onto the ring apron and steps between the ropes as she slowly advances on Markova. Once Masha Slamovich reaches Markova, Masha pats her back. Both women rise to their feet, and Masha wipes the tears away from Natalia Markova's face. Markova thanks Slamovich and turns to leave the ring. As she does, Masha blasts her with a lariat to the back of the head. Markova hits the canvas with a hard thud, and Masha Slamovich stares at her fallen former friend blankly as the crowd boos. Masha pulls Markova to her feet by the hair before tossing her through the ropes into the floor. Masha Irish whips Markova into the steel steps not once, not twice, but 3 consecutive times. Masha then mounts Markova and starts unloading with vicious, repeated strikes to the face. Masha then rises to her feet, her hands stained with Markova's blood. The segment ends with Masha standing over a bloodied and battered Natalia Markova. The next week on Clash, Masha Slamovich makes her way to the ring for a promo. Last week, I did... Now you got me... Like, I can't break that Scottish accent now. Last week, I did what was necessary. Last week, I did what any respectful Russian would do. I took my comrade out of her misery. There is no greater pain for a Russian than repeated failure. Knowing that what you have to give is simply never enough. I saw the truth, and I used the truth to end Natalia Markova's suffering. As a true Russian exemplar, I will now rise against those speaking out against us. I will show the world Russia's might. I will make the world fear the name of Masha Slamovich. Masha stares into the camera with a menacing glare, but then Natalia Markova's music hits. Masha's head snaps to the stage with indignation-filled rage as her eyes widen and then narrow in on the emerging Russian doll. Markova slowly approaches the ring, looking hesitant and fearful, before eventually slipping between the ropes to face off with Markova. Natalia begins to speak as her voice shakes and cracks while Masha stares holes through her. Masha, I know I messed up. I know that I'm supposed to be a winner. I'm supposed to be strong. I'm supposed to be dominant. I'm supposed to be a warrior, but I've been focused on being a doll instead. You woke me up. I'm ready to be a winner. I'm ready to be strong. I'm ready to be dominant. Masha, I'm ready to be a warrior. Masha stares at Markova, and a slight grin starts to form at the corner of her mouth. Oh, my sweet Natalia. You are already a disgrace. Masha's face twists into a sinister expression as she delivers the final line. Natalia Markova's eyes well up with tears as she looks at Masha, confused, and shakes her head no rapidly. Masha raises the mic again. To Masha Slamovich, to all of Russia, Natalia Markova is dead. Masha drops the microphone, turns, and leaves Markova as she starts to sob. The next week on Clash, while preserving the show on commentary, or while previewing the show on commentary, Ariel Helwani is interrupted and the show cuts to the back, showing Masha Slamovich assaulting Markova backstage. Masha has 2 handfuls of Markova's hair and is bashing her head into the concrete wall before throwing Markova by her hair. Markova smacks the floor with a hard thud, but Masha immediately mounts her. Masha throws a few stiff strikes to the skull before again wrapping her hands in Markova's hair and bashing the back of her skull off the concrete floor repeatedly. Officials swarm in and rip Masha off Markova as security drags Masha away. She screams out, "I told you! You're dead! You're dead!" Masha Slamovich is in the ring for a promo. Masha says that she had to finish what she started last week with Markova. She thought that being merciful, being benevolent was the right path to take with Natalia. After Natalia Markova came down and interrupted Masha 2 weeks ago and asked for forgiveness, after Natalia Markova begged for Masha to take her back, after Natalia Markova shed tears for Masha Slamovich, she realized that the merciful path wasn't right at all. She was not sparing Natalia Markova. Natalia Markova's weakness had begun to seep into the veins of Masha Slamovich. Russians do not beg. Russians do not seek forgiveness. Russians do not cry for ally or enemy. Masha says she needed to exercise Markova's influence on her, and she needed to remove Markova entirely. Masha says that now that she has eradicated that poison that is Natalia Markova, she will now restore the former glory of Russia. Masha challenges the international women's champion Trish Adora to a title match next week. Next week on Clash, we get Trish Adora versus Masha Slamovich in a singles match for the International Women's Championship. It is a hard-hitting affair with neither woman wanting to give the other an inch. Trish Adora goes for the lariat Tubman, but Masha ducks underneath and ripcords Adora back. Masha hoists Adora in the air and spikes her with a Russian death device, which is a scoop brainbuster.
Lariat Tubman's crazy, by the way. Sorry,
that's her real name. I didn't make that up. That's
that's crazy.
Yeah, and it fits the character so well.
That's the name of a move?
Yeah, it's a lariat, but she calls it Lariat Tubman. Trish Adora is the GOAT. I don't give a
$5.
So she hits her with the Russian death device, which is a scoop brainbuster. Masha goes for the pin, but before the referee counts 3, Natalia Markova comes out of nowhere and attacks Slamovich, forcing a DQ. Markova throttles Slamovich with strikes as Slamovich shells up try to block the onslaught. Masha rolls and scrambles away from Markova, slipping under the ropes into the floor. Markova hits the ropes and leaps through the opposite set, smashing into Slamovich with a suicide dive. Markova continues her assault and blasting her with big right hands while pinning Slamovich between herself and the barricade. Masha is eventually able to pull away from Markova, fleeing into the crowd. Natalia Markova grabs a Russian flag and stands on the outside of the second rope, arms held wide with the flag draped behind her. Natalia Markova screams at the wounded and fearful Masha Slamovich to finish what she started now. On Clash the next week, Natalia Markova is in the ring for a promo. For too long, I have let this world tell me who I am. For too long, I have accepted myself as being beautiful and delicate. I am beautiful, but I am not delicate. I am power. I have the power of my people running through my veins. Masha was right about that. Masha was right that I have to let I've let the world's view of me cloud my own perspective, and in turn, keep me from the truth. The part where Masha was wrong is when she said I was weak. I am not weak. I am not a loser. And it's not the Russian people's power. Sorry, and it's not. Hold on. No, that was right. And it's not the Russian people's power that flows through my blood. It's the power that each and every one of you give me every time I walk out of this ring. Hearing your voices cheer for me gives me the power I need. Because of all of you, I have the power to deal with Masha Slamovich. At No Remorse, you give me the power to finish what she started. On the Go Home episode of Clash, Masha Slamovich cuts a promo backstage. You finally found your backbone, Natalia. You have finally stood up for yourself, and you earned a victory in battle. But this is a war you cannot win. You don't realize it. You're nothing more than a lesson for me. I thought I was supposed to show you, remind you what a Russian warrior looks like. I was wrong. It was you who was supposed to remind me of what a Russian warrior looks like. You have opened my eyes, Natalia. You make me see the world in a different lens. Now, I will teach you about the inescapable truth. You are weak. You're pathetic. And at No Remorse, I will beat that inescapable truth into you, and that beating will be as inescapable as the truth is. As I will take you back to your origination for your extermination. At No Remorse, Masha Slamovich versus Natalia Markova in a Russian chain match. Alright, now it's time for the match. I didn't do attires. I forgot that y'all be doing attires.
Boo.
My bad. I'll make sure to have attires.
That's false. You had an attire earlier.
Just for Arturo Huas.
Oh, okay.
Not for these guys. I guess you can pretend they're wearing whatever they're wearing in the outfit in the picture.
Oh, that's perfect. Good visual.
Yeah, thank you. All right, so Masha stares down Natalia with a sadistic smile as the bell rings. Natalia begins to circle, but Masha walks to the center and begins pulling Natalia in by the chain attached to their wrist. Also, Russian chain match. It's like a strap match where but it's attached at the wrist, not at the neck, and you have to touch all four corners. Masha stares down at Natalia with a sadistic smile as the bell rings. Natalia begins to circle, but Masha walks to the center and begins pulling Natalia in by the chain attached to their wrists. Natalia attempts to resist, but Masha is too strong, so Markova pivots with a running flying forearm to Masha, sending the monster reeling back. Natasha runs and hits the ropes to gain momentum, but as she draws near, Masha flattens her with a big boot. Masha looks down at Natalia with almost pride on her face before she begins laughing as she gathers slack of the chain in her hand. Masha begins whipping the chain across Natalia's back in midsection as Natalia writhes and tries to get away. Masha drops to her knees and begins thrashing into Natalia's skull with sharp elbows. Masha grabs 2 handfuls of Natalia's hair as she drags her face inches from her own and screams out before dragging Markova to her feet. Masha delivers a devastating knee to the midsection of Markova, buckling her legs. Slamovich follows up with a gut-wrench suplex, smashing Markova into the canvas. Masha stalks the downed Markova as she hovers over her. She begins to wrap the chain around Markova's neck. Masha locks in a modified camel clutch using the chain to crank Markova's neck. Markova's body begins to go limp, and it looks like she's out. But then, when it seems to be the last-ditch survival effort, her body seizes up as she rises to her feet with Masha on her back. Masha's face fills with panic as Markova reaches her feet and screams out before leaping backwards for a backpack slam, knocking Masha off her back. Markova rallies hard, following up quickly with a double-arm DDT. Markova Irish whips Slamovich into the ropes and catches her on the rebound with a Samoan drop. Markova pops back to her feet and stumbles a bit, selling the fight she's been in, but rallies with the crowd as she waves Masha to her feet. Masha stumbles up and Natalia pounces, nailing her with a sit-down face slam. Natalia stumbles back to her feet and begins to touch the corner. She reaches the first corner. She stumbles and drops to a knee as Masha is starting to stir. Markova rises back to her feet and uses the ropes to guide her as she reaches the second corner. Markova looks over and sees Masha trying to reach over for the ropes and realizes she has to hurry. She grabs the top rope and begins to run before leaping over to the third turnbuckle. Only one more to go. Natalia runs to the fourth corner, and as she nears it, the camera cuts to a close-up of her upper body and face as Masha Slamovich leaps onto Natalia's back and locks in a rear naked choke, ripping Markova backwards and onto the canvas. Masha has the hold deep, and it isn't long before Markova's body goes limp again. But this time, there's no adrenaline left to save her. Masha chokes the life out of Markova and rises to her feet. She looks unsatisfied as she walks and touches the first 2 corners before passing and turning to face her fallen foe. Masha slowly walks towards Markova's lifeless body before standing directly above her and jerking her to her feet by her neck. Slamovich follows up with a package pile driver, crushing Markova's neck under both their body weight. Markova looks incensed as she lays into the skull of Markova with elbows, busting her open. Masha backs into the corner and ascends the top rope before leaping down with a flying headbutt, opening the wound even deeper. Masha wipes the blood of Markova across her face as she laughs maniacally. Masha drags Markova to her feet one final time, hitting her with a Russian death device. Slamovich drops to her knees, wraps the chain around Markova's neck, and then drags Markova's body by her neck from corner to corner to win the match.
All right. I'll start here. I thought overall this story was really good. I think you did a good job of like getting the length and amount of detail right. So I think you nailed that. You kept me invested. And I thought the match was pretty cool too. My only beef with this is I feel like the wrong person won. I feel like you made Markova like in this big underdog situation, and unless they run this back at some point, like I know that Masha's a more serious competitor.
I would say Masha's the one that's getting a push. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Markova's gonna move on to other endeavors, not like future endeavors. She's gonna do other
I
shit,
feel
but-
like it's like it's making her look a little too weak. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
And
That was
then
kind of the point, though.
yeah, I just feel like it should have been a bit more balanced. If you want to do anything with Markova down the line, it's going to be hard to convince us. It'd be like trying to run Kamala Harris in 2028. Like, but
I think it's like Maxine Dupree. Like, she came in, she gets beat up, and now she has to work her way back up the ranks.
that makes sense. I'll take that. And then my other beef was just like there was a little bit too much of a lean on like the stereotypical like Mother Russia type gimmick, but it wasn't like to the point where it like offended me or anything.
Fair enough.
I'm
I
gonna
almost,
give.
I almost leaned harder into it and called it Mother Russia. If I said
I'm glad
I
you
can't do
didn't.
that. Yeah, I can't
I
do
would
that.
have given you a 550.
Well,
I already got zeros from everybody else, so.
That's all right.
No, you wouldn't have.
you would have
I
gotten
mean,
like a
that's what they
dollar
would
less
call
than
it.
from me. But good news is I'm giving you 425. So
I'll take it.
I
you go.
think John, and by extension, Kenny, by the fact that he shook his head yes when John said the wrong person won, are fucking fried. Markova should not have won this match. Her getting destroyed is the better story.
Yes.
It makes the most sense. Markova she's still there, but the main character of this story is Masha. Her going and destroying her like she did is the way it should go. I'm giving you a 5.
Let's go.
I agree with Damone, but I'm not giving you a 5. I'll give you a 450.
And like you guys told me with Demon Finn Balor, sometimes the bad guy wins.
No, right. That's what I was gonna say too. When he says I had to build up this underdog story. The thing is if every underdog wins, there's no more underdogs. So sometimes they gotta lose.
I was gonna say I don't know why we're trying to say she should have won. I'm confused because I'm like trying to go back in my head with like the promos and everything. I don't understand why you.
I
think
even
she
tried
should-
to make her promos not as good.
I was gonna say there was one promo that like really stuck out. Like there was one part in her one promo that like stuck out to me, and it like made me kind of lean her way. But the whole rest of the time it was the other way. So I'm going 475 though.
I'll take it.
Joe,
Was
are
it
you
when
going
she
to
said
the-
she's pretty
it's
but
also
not
like,
delicate?
I felt
Was
like
that
it
part?
shouldn't have been like I don't know. I feel like there should have at least been one more hope spot at the very least.
Man, I could see that. I honestly reading through the match, I was like, I could have given her one more thing, but the thing is I'm limiting myself with spots and
Yeah.
like where I want to put stuff, like how I want to tell the story. So like, it's actually the same. It feels like I'm writing a real wrestling show. You know what I mean? Like I have 12
Yeah.
minutes for this match. I don't have time for another hope spot. I'm sorry, like it gets cut out.
Yeah.
So
Well, that was good.
thank you.
Okay.
But Joe, what's your number again?
My number,
Yeah.
like my phone number, you should have it.
No, your rating, motherfucker.
475.
All right. I was assigned between two different scores. I do agree that John with John on that. Like I said it earlier.
Fried.
I'll be fried then. But it was about it was like, that's what I think of that.
Hey, that just means I wrote a good baby face.
I
I'm
think
not mad.
I think some of the promos didn't really hit for me. That's just me though. But I didn't like really kill you for that. But I gave you just straight 4.
I'll take it.
for that.
Kenny thinks Russia's.
I really got a 4, a 425, a 450, a 475, and a 5. Like I just right up the
Yeah.
alley.
Don't get used to it.
What? Right. So, time for the next match.
That's natural.
The Rude Ones are in the ring wearing bright pink robes with white accents, and Lizzie Rude is wearing a bright pink and white striped flared jumpsuit. Rick and Robert both have mics in their hands, and Rick begins to speak. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, get your cameras ready, and all you freaks keep your hands off the merchandise because the Rude Ones have arrived. The crowd goes wild for the Rude Ones, and Robert starts to talk. The Rude Ones are finally on the scene in KOC. 491 pounds of pure steel and sex appeal. Here to make these tag teams look weak and make these women weak in the knees. Rick Rude takes over. Ladies, I know we're a sight for sore eyes and a sight that shakes your thighs. So we're offering a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to find a fine young lady lucky enough to ride the Rude Ones Express. Robert
I can
Roode
see
is strutting
Kenny's soul leaving his body.
Hey,
I'm listening. I'm listening. I'm trying to hear. I'm trying to see how you take it.
It's not gonna be the same as his. I can't
Yeah.
write his stories. He couldn't write, like, if you took one of my characters, he wouldn't be able to write the exact same thing as me. So now you made me forget where I was at. Oh, okay. Robert Roode is strutting in slow motion, repeating chugga 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 over and over.
There it is. It's
Okay,
gone.
I will admit I did not like that. I was like listening for it, but yeah, that was nasty.
Oh, shit.
Rude
Five.
coin versus rude
Five.
coin.
Yeah.
God damn it. All right.
You know, called her Lizzie Rude. Now she's in a trade.
I
I
know
don't like
Lizzie
this.
Rude's the best part of this so far.
Lizzie Rude being in a trade. I don't like this.
Hey,
We treat her with respect.
save your comments for after the presentation. All right. Now where the fuck am I? Rick gets on the second rope and looks out to the crowd. Now, if you don't mind, make some noise if you want to ride the Rude Ones Express. All aboard! And the women in the crowd go wild as Rick and Robert pan over the audience to try to pick a lucky lady. Just as Robert rolls out of the ring to make his selection, La Resistance's music hits, and the French models make their way to the ring. Rene Dupree looks the Rude Ones up and down with disgust painted across his face and a little dog in his arms. This is what you consider... Dupree's voice trails off in a tone of disgust as his face screws up even worse than before. Attractive? Rene Dupree gags after saying the word, and Robert Conway takes over. Come on, guys. You? You're the pure steel and sex appeal? I mean, just look at me. Ain't I a sight to see?
He said the thing.
Don't you wanna look like me?
Bro, I gotta flip a coin for this getting a 0 or a 550. I don't know which it is. Like,
Just give me a second. Get through the goddamn whole thing. A wide, toothy grin forms across the face of Conway as he stands with his arms out, allowing the world to get a good look at the free Canadian. Rene Dupree chimes in. And what of me? Am I not the prettiest boy you have ever seen? Am I not cut from the cloth of the clouds? A celestial being dropped from the sky? I am. La Resistance begin posing with one another, each trying to outdo the other. The Rude Ones look at each other confused and then shrug their shoulders before each grabs the Frenchman and bonks their heads together, taking them out to the delight of the crowd.
Bonk.
Yep. Bonk. Damn. La Resistance flees the ring and shouts at the Rude Ones in French as they scurry up the ramp. The next week on Clash, a vignette plays for the Rude Ones. The Rude Ones are wearing berets, black and white striped shirts with the sleeves cut off to show their muscles, and red ascots around their necks. Both men are holding baguettes as they pace back and forth. Lizzie Rude is leaning against an inflatable Eiffel Tower while drinking a glass of champagne. Rick Rude begins to speak in a terrible French accent. Vui vui and oars ashore! Put your hands together for les Rude Ones! I can't hit that note anymore.
It's gone. I need some water.
Yep.
I'm about to give you some. Screen.
Where was I at? A toaster dings and a piece of French toast pops out. Robert snatches it midair, takes an aggressive bite out of it before spitting it out. Ah, to hell with it. This shtick sucks and so does La Resistance. And if you yellow-bellied bitches got a problem, you can take it up with the Rude Ones next week on Clash. The next week on Clash, Rick, Robert, and Lizzie Rude are all in the ring, and the Rude Ones call out La Resistance. A few moments pass, and a banjo cover version of La Resistance music hits, and instead of the words La Resistance painted over the French flags on the Tron, it's replaced with the words "Oh Rebel Boys" over Confederate flags. Rene Dupree comes out with a stained white wife beater on, a MAGA hat, work boots, and a cut-off jean shorts.
what?
Robert Conway comes out with overalls and a cowboy hat on. Robert speaks first. Yee-haw! The crowd rains down boos on the Frenchman. The hell wrong with y'all? Got something stuck in your craw? Dupree asks. Say, Rennie, you seen Trudy around yonder anywhere? Conway asks. Robbie, you mean Trudy your wife or Trudy your cousin? Conway smacks Dupree in the back of the head. Now you know damn well that's the same Trudy. Why you acting dumber than a box of rocks? I ought to show you about constitutional carry, Rennie. Oh no, Robbie. Don't do that now. I'll call Mama on you. In the ring, Rick and Lizzie Rude are incensed, but Robert doesn't seem to care. Rick nudges him and asks why he's not mad that they're making fun of them. Robert says, they're making fun of Americans. I'm Canadian. Oh, yeah, you're right. Hey! And Robert joins in on the Rude One's anger. Rene Dupree smirks before replying in his typical voice. What's the matter? Only funny when you do it? A little while later, backstage, we see La Resistance backstage, still dressed like country bumpkins. Jamie Noble approaches them. Now listen here, you French fried freaks. My culture ain't no goddamn costume, dagnabbit. Now, Renee Young, Rob Deerdeck, please take that shit off now. La Resistance looks a little shook by the tone of his voice, but something catches Jamie Noble's attention off screen. I got you now, you bovine bitch! And Noble shouts as he runs off screen past La Resistance. The next week on Clash, we got a pre-tape promo from the Rude Ones. Last week, La Resistance, Last week, La Resistance, you showed the world exactly what the kind of folks you are. And it's time we show you the kind of folks we are. See, we got the king of violence and the king of combat. Well, right now, you're looking at the king of pump and the king of gains. So you think you're good looking, you think you're strong? Well, let's find out who stands above them all, Rick says. Robert picks up where his partner left off. La Resistance, here you are hereby invited to the first Rude Ones Flexibition next week on Clash. The segment ends with the Rude Ones flexing and Lizzie Rude spraying them with oils. The next week of Clash has both teams in the ring with two full-length luxury mirrors for the Flexibition. A referee is out to oversee the Flexibition. Round 1 sees Robert Conway go head-to-head against Rick Rude. La Resistance wins the coin toss, and Rick Rude goes first. As sexy music plays, Rick Rude poses and flexes as the ladies squeal and scream for the Rude One.
Sexy music.
Sexy.
The fucking coin flip for the flex off.
It's not a flex off, it's a Flexibition.
Flexibition.
The music stops and
Get
it's
my
time
coin ready.
for Robert Conway to take his turn. French jazz plays as Conway flexes, but it's barely audible over the boos of the crowd. Conway stops midway through and shouts French expletives at the crowd. At the end of round 1, the referee awards the Rude Ones the round victory. Conway spits at the referee in disdain. For round 2, we will see Rene Dupree go first, and Robert Roode follow. The French jazz fills the speakers again, and the boos return to drown it out as well. Rene Dupree tries to flex and pose, but is visibly shaken by the crown. Next up, we get Robert Roode, who gets a little raunchy in his poses, much to the delight of the ladies in the crowd. The end of round 2 sees the Rude Ones win again. It's not over yet, as round 3 is a tag team flex-off worth 3 points. The Rude Ones go first, flexing and posing as the crowd cheers and eggs them on. The crowd is eating the Rude Ones up as the disgust becomes too much for La Resistance. Dupree and Conway attack the Rude Ones from behind. Both teams brawl, but the segment ends with La Resistance putting the Rude Ones through the full-length mirrors and standing tall over the fallen heroes. The next week on Clash, La Resistance is in the ring trying to cut a promo, but can't get a word out over the boos. Eventually, the crowd chants, USA, 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 in unison, and one fan in the front row even waves an American flag at La Resistance. The French models leave the ring and try to snatch the flag from the fan, ensuing in a tug-of-war. Just as it looks like they're going to win, the Rude Ones music hits, and the duo sprints to the fans' rescue. La Resistance flees the scene before the Rude Ones can catch him. Rick grabs the microphone. That's right, tuck your tails and leave. You can run, but you cannot hide. Robert picks up where he left off. Since y'all got such a fascination of stealing folks' flags, how about it, No Remorse, you take this flag from the Rude Ones in a tornado tag flag match. The French models animatedly sell their disdain and anger as the crowd cheers. All right.
Fix your mic.
It just stopped working though.
It just keeps going.
What happened? Is it good?
Yeah, it's good now.
Okay. All right. So the 4 men go to the center of the ring and are arguing about who looks better. All 4 men flex their muscles at the others until finally the Rude Ones have had enough and begin brawling with La Resistance. Rick faces off with Conway, and Robert, I don't know why I said Robert. Robert focuses on Dupree.
Robert.
Conway gets the upper hand on Rick, Irish whipping Rude into the ropes, but Rick Rude answers with a nasty spear, cutting the French Canadian in half. Conway rolls out to the floor, and Rick Rude scrambles out after him. Back in the ring, Rene Dupree and Robert Roode are trading shots back and forth. Dupree gets the advantage and drops Robert with a double knife edge chop. Dupree continues his assault with stomps to the fallen Rude one before climbing to the second rope and leaping down with a diving splash. Back on the outside, Rick Rude nails Conway with a lariat and then places his knees across the neck and jaw of Conway as Rude ties his boot. Back in the ring, Dupree locks in the Bonduit, which is a camel clutch. Robert is shouting out in pain and kicking his feet in an animated manner. Renee wrenches the hold deeper, but out of nowhere comes Rick Rude, hitting Dupree with a stiff boot, connecting flush on Dupree's jaw. The Rude one sizes up Dupree before hitting a double clothesline into a backbreaker. Lizzie Rude rolls into the ring and begins to count reps as the Rude ones have an impromptu push-up contest. Robert Roode is celebrating with Lizzie Rude as Rick scales the corner to take the French flag. Robert Conway scurries up onto the apron and blasts Rick Rude with an iron fist, which is Conway's signature iron-loaded glove strike. Rick Rude is out instantly, thudding to the canvas. Robert Roode sees Rick crash to the canvas, and he goes after Conway, but Conway ducks the lariat that Rude threw. Conway answers with an iron fist for Robert as well. Rene Dupree rolls in, and La Resistance hit Robert with a bonjour, which is a double spine buster. Robert begins to scale the corner for the American flag, but back in the ring, Rick Rude has risen and is heading towards Robert, but Rene catches him halfway and hits a big boot, sending both men over the top rope and crashing to the floor. Robert Conway gets to the middle rope and goes to grab the flag, but leaning across the top turnbuckle with her chin in her hands is Lizzie Rude, who just stares at Conway with a smirk on her face as she aggressively chews her bubblegum. Conway starts shouting at Lizzie, telling her to get out. Lizzie simply stood straight, blew a giant bubble of bubblegum that pops in Robert Conway's face, blinding the French Canadian, sending him back, crashing spine first onto the canvas. Robert Roode rises back to his feet, grabs hold of Conway, and nails him with a German suplex into the turnbuckles. Robert Roode rises to his feet and points at his abs while the crowd counts aloud. Rick Rude rolls into the ring and climbs the turnbuckles, pulling the French flag out of the corner and tossing it to the ground for the victory. The bell rings as the Rude ones flex and pose as Lizzie Rude waves the American flag.
All right, I'm starting again. So, at the beginning of this, I was between a 550 and a 0. But as time went on, it just kept getting worse. It pissed me off more and more. Like, when Joe presented and he was given a 0 on that John Gonzalez shit, I knew when I saved my 0 that there was something that was gonna come.
So, just out of curiosity, this is worse than just two people showing up and staring at people with no
this is
understanding.
not that bad.
Travis,
How does that make sense?
Travis,
John,
you
like,
had
I
someone
need you to defend
hit
your
a
point here.
spot where a bubble gum bubble
It's a
popped in his face.
John. You had a
Some
match where you decided
90s
someone couldn't lose the
cartoon
title
shit.
because it was against the rules.
That's not even possible.
Okay.
Bro's defying the laws of physics to do some fucking like Woody Woodpecker ass spots.
John, are you using your 0 here?
Let me finish.
Okay.
And then we add this weird like flag element to it where like I feel like both countries got disgraced. Like Americans and French people should be mad at this. Who's the good guy? I can't tell. They're all
It's
fucking evil.
clearly the Rude ones.
Yeah,
like,
that's not even
easily.
like a.
It's
like,
not even close. Who the
They're
faces
both
are
acting
here?
pretty heelish.
Are they?
Like
Can you- what did the Rude ones
squadron
do
of
that was-
dickheads.
What did the Rude ones do that were heelish?
Like the whole time they were just like, I don't know,
Flexing
like,
and doing stuff like that. That's their gimmick. That's their whole thing.
yeah, that train shit. They're just cocky as hell, I guess. Like,
But that doesn't make them a heel. Your favorite wrestler of all time is cocky.
I understand, but he also spent half his career as a heel.
and the other half he was the face. All I'm saying is I'll take my 0. I'll take my lumps. I'm just saying that you don't really have like this doesn't make any sense. Like it's just,
I don't think he has a 0, so he can't give you a 0.
he does.
I
He
do
said
have
he
a
saved it.
0.
No, he has a.
I
Oprah's
thought
used
you
their 0
were
with
using
me.
it.
I'm the only one to use the 0.
Yeah.
Oh.
And-
I
let
took
me
Kenny's.
finish. I just could not get any sympathy behind the rude ones is what I think I'm really trying to say on that front. Like, I couldn't buy into them. And, like, at first, I was laughing with you. And then towards the end, I was just laughing at you. I did not like how this progressed.
Hey, John, I
Um,
just want you to remember how you're presenting this feedback to me. So when your show comes along, that I'm not sugarcoating shit because you were being disrespectful at this point. You
I'm
said you're
sorry,
laughing at me. Like
I'm
that,
trying to
I just want you to know, only one of us have cried on this show.
To be fair, it was at your show.
Well,
But, no, I'm playing it up for the entertainment. Sorry if I was being a dickhead.
no, you're good. I'm just telling you, don't dish out what you can't take, motherfucker.
I like
Ooh, can't
experiencing
wait.
this live.
Yeah, we get some evil Travis.
So give him a number. You don't need to
Yeah.
insult him anymore. Just give him a number.
This is gonna be my 0 though. I'm sorry.
Mm.
Wow.
Yeah, John is on
It was-
fucking crack. I'm giving you my
Mm.
550.
Thank you, Damone.
There you go, 550. More money. If I could give you a 10, I would. I loved every bit of
It's
it.
comedy. It's just
It was
supposed to be
comedic.
stupid and
It was
fun.
It was funny. It was
Now
fun.
Damone likes
Rude ones.
comedy.
There was no sympathy to be had.
Let me know when you're funny, Mike.
I'm funny all the time.
Sheesh. All right.
Anyway,
Y'all, Damone tolerates this, but I say the word Sigma in one promo. It's, oh hell,
Well,
that.
that's dumb. That's not
It's-
comedy.
Yeah, that's not funny.
That's stupid.
Right.
When somebody could
This
blow
was
a
funny,
fucking,
like, and it
Tootsie
was
Pop
clearly the
bubble in
rude
somebody's
ones are
face,
the
and that fucking works out.
the rude ones are clearly the baby faces. They're the ones the crowd's cheering for. They're the ones that the crowd is popping for. The La
They made the
Resistance is
save
being-
on the go home show. They saved
Right,
the
yeah.
fucking fan from the heels.
Yeah, right. La Resistance are the dickhead foreigners making fun of Americans. Yeah, I love this. Every bit of it was great. 2 cocky teams. You can be cocky and be a baby face. Like
I know this.
like Dolph Ziggler, Shawn Michaels.
Thank you.
They're cocky baby faces. Fucking MJF is a dickhead, and he was a baby face for what, a year? As a
Yeah.
complete asshole. You can still be cocky and be a baby face. But like I said, 550, I love this.
Thank you.
Okay.
Go
I'll go
ahead.
next. So I do agree with what John was saying. I think I'm not giving you a 0. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not giving you a 0. I mean, I can't give you a 0 anyway, but I wasn't thinking
Point
that.
five.
You're welcome, Travis.
Was no, I was no.
I'm
It
not
was
gonna give
it
you a
wasn't a
0
0.
because I can't, but it's a 0.5 because I can't give you a 0.
No. It's not that bad. I will say I wanted to like this. I did, but there was quite
I
a
didn't
few
expect you to love
cringy, quite a few
That would make
cringy
me more
elements
mad than
to
the
it.
type of things I was saying. When
It
people say
was
they want to like
the-
my shit and can't, that makes me more mad.
The train part, I did not, and I will say I did not like the bubblegum spot. I hated
Okay.
that.
That's
I
fine.
hated that part.
I thought that was clever and creative, and I was like,
Yeah.
that's a good fun.
I
way to
didn't
end
like
match.
I didn't like the flex off in the beginning. Now I do like the push up thing. Like I mean, that's rude ones. That's what they do.
Yeah.
I didn't really like the flex off in the beginning, but there's a couple promos they did in the beginning. I was like, so it was going up and down for me.
I'm still
very
learning
beginning.
how I want to present the rude ones, so I get that.
Yeah.
I'm not. I get
Yeah.
it.
But yeah, like I said, I didn't want to come in there hating because it's no longer my thing. It was just like it was going up and down quite a bit, and then it to me it went down towards the end. But I gave you a solid 2
I'll
with
take
it. I didn't give you a 0, but I gave you a 2.
I was in between really liking this and really hating this. Like I went back and forth with I really like this to I don't like this at all. So I was definitely bouncing between Timon and John in between there. But but I think I got more entertainment out of it than I didn't. I also like the rude train. Chicka, 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 chicka.
Thank you. It's funny. It's funny.
Play the fatty for those pimp daddies.
You gotta use rude coin to get on the rude train.
You gotta always chug. It sounds like John had one bad day though, so I'm gonna give you a 3. I'm just gonna go straight mid because I was in between the two. It was corny, but I also like corny. So
That's fair. I am aware that it's corny. Okay, like I want to make sure that everybody knows I wrote this and knew it was corny. That's fine.
It's not even that it was corny. It's that
that
was
was
also just so. It was.
I like the corny aspect.
It was such a departure of the rude ones. I think because it was your own take, so it was your spin on it. But it wasn't the rude ones that I've come to know and love.
And Travis, I will say to balance it out, I feel like this is gonna be like a dance theory situation where like I hate it at first and then it grows on me.
You
Like,
just gave him a 0. There's no.
I know.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. You can't say that.
Just stick with your 0.
John, you
already
just said that
apologizing.
this is the worst thing you will see in all of BookItverse this season.
Right. In
and
round
watch
1.
So I end up giving him a 5.
The
That's
fact
how
we
it
got
goes.
the 5.5 and a
John,
0 in the same
John,
one is wild.
You punished me for actually writing my own stories. But gave me the 0, but let others pass. Fuck you.
All right, let's get this one more match, right?
No, we got Joe. We got Joe.
Oh, we got Joe.
Jesus
We
Christ.
got
I thought you
3
already
more
went.
matches, bud.
And there's 3 more matches.
3 more matches
Yes.
tonight?
There's only
Yes.
been 2.
Tonight.
Okay. So
That's why I told y'all to shut the fuck up and keep
yeah,
going.
let me speak. Let me speak.
Go.
All right. Okay. So I need y'all to get your notebooks out and start taking notes because
No.
obviously KOC 5.5.
Let's fucking go!
That
Fuck
shit
you, John!
was so
Fuck you!
good. Yeah. John
You
is
guys
high
are
as
you guys
shit.
are busting nuts real early in this.
I don't care. This was worth it.
Thank you. Thank you!
Nothing's gonna be.
I
better
think
than
there's
this, in my
I
opinion.
think there's a lot of BookItverse to go.
That is the
There might be a lot of
craziest rated
BookItverse,
match
but I'll
in
tell you
BookItverse
what,
There's
history.
a lot of cock to go to, Mike. There's a
Yeah.
lot of cock to go to.
Yeah. We might be only an inch deep on his show, but I'm ready
You're
for the
starting to
other
sound like a guy that drives
This
one
is
of
just the tip.
those big ass trucks. So you gotta tell me you have so much cock, but there ain't shit there.
That's the bit.
All right, let's get this small dick game on the road. Let's go.
All right. On Wednesday Night Clash, AMP champion Christopher Daniels is in the ring with a microphone in hand. He tells the world that he is here to bless the audience with a match from the greatest in-ring performer in the world today, Christopher Daniels. Daniels says he wants to put his AMP championship on the line against anyone in the back that's man enough to step into the ring against Daniels. Daniels tosses the microphone and paces as he waits to see who answers his open challenge. The arena speakers fill with "You Can Run" as Billie Kidman makes his way to the ring. Billie Kidman and Christopher Daniels shake hands and the match begins. It's a good match.
Tape.
You said what?
No rib tape.
No rib tape. Nope. Can't have rib tape every week.
That's
He always
automatic
injured.
25%
It's a good-
off.
That's fine. I'll take it. I got to break this cycle. It's a good back and forth match with neither guy really being able to maintain an edge. The match comes to a shocking conclusion when Billie Kidman gets a small package roll up on Christopher Daniels and wins the match and the AMP championship. The crowd, commentary team, even Christopher Daniels can't believe it. Billie Kidman celebrates up the ramp as Christopher Daniels is left in the ring stunned. The next week on Clash, Christopher Daniels is irate. Daniels goes to KOC chairman Arturo Huas and demands that he gets a rematch against Billie Kidman. Huas tells Daniels he'll get his rematch next week on Clash. The rematch begins and both men circle the ring. Daniels is much more aggressive in this match, trying to put Kidman away early. Daniels dominates for a majority of the match, but Kidman sparks some highlights as well. Finally, Daniels has Kidman in the center of the ring, locked deep in an arm trap crossface. It looks like Kidman is going to tap. Daniels is only seconds away from regaining his AMP championship. Then, out of nowhere, Kidman rolls and stacks Daniels on his shoulders as the referee counts to 3. Billy Kidman has done it again to the shock of the world. He has stolen another victory from Christopher Daniels. Daniels is irate in the ring as he screams and argues with the referee. Daniels once again goes to Huas on the next episode of Clash, pleading with him to give him another shot at Kidman. Daniels says he doesn't think he can beat him. He knows it. He just needs one last chance. Huas tells Daniels he can face Kidman next week on Clash, but this will be his final chance. If he loses, then Daniels will be barred from challenging for the AMP Championship for as long as Billy Kidman holds it. Daniels agrees to the stipulation and the match is set. Daniels and Kidman 3 starts out hot, as Daniels is as locked in and focused as we have ever seen him. Kidman is out to prove his victories weren't a fluke. The two go back and forth with their best match yet, pulling out all the stops. Kidman gains the upper hand against Daniels late in the match after a Kid Crusher, which is an unprettier. Kidman rises to the top and leaps down with a shooting star press, but Daniels gets his knees up just in time to block the impact. Kidman ricochets off the knees of Daniels and smacks the mat, holding his ribs. Daniels wastes little time hitting Kidman with the BME and securing the pin for the win to regain his AMP championship. The next week on Clash, Kidman approaches Daniels backstage to congratulate him on the victory last week. Daniels sarcastically thanks Kidman and then taunts him by telling him how obvious it is now that Kidman's victories were nothing more than flukes. Kidman says, well, yeah, maybe you're right, but I don't know. I mean, the record books show it as 2-1 Kidman. Maybe it was your victory last week that was a fluke. Oh, well, guess we'll never know. Kidman smacks the arm of Daniels before turning to walk away. Daniels' face screws up as he ponders what Kidman just said. Then Daniels yells out to Kidman and runs out after him. Daniels catches up to Kidman. Daniels tells Kidman that his victory was no fluke, and he's man enough to prove it. Next week and the week after, Kidman versus Daniels settle the score in a best-of-5 series. The winner leaves with the AMP Championship when it's all said and done. Kidman smirks and agrees, shaking Daniels' hand. The next week on Clash, we get the 4th installment of Christopher Daniels versus Billy Kidman. The two put on an absolute classic that sees Daniels win clean after a last rites rolling cutter. In the final match between Daniels and Kidman, the stakes are as high as ever. Neither man has an ounce of quit in them as they battle back and forth, neither wanting to create an opportunity for the other. A chess match of violence as the two seem to have an answer for whatever the other throws. Finally, Billy Kidman creates some separation and starts to take control of the match. The momentum is shifting quickly, and it looks like Kidman is about to win it all. Kidman goes for the Kid Crusher, but before he can complete the turn, Daniels pulls away. As Kidman turns around, Daniels punts him in the testicles directly in front of the referee. The referee calls for the disqualification as Kidman lies on the canvas in pain. Backstage, Huas confronts Daniels and asks what the hell that was about. Daniels says he's over this Kidman saga. It's over. Daniels is the AMP champion, and that's all that matters. Huas tells Daniels he's wrong. The Kidman saga is not over, and it's all thanks to Daniels. Next week on Clash, Kidman will get a rematch against Daniels for the AMP championship. Excuse me. Daniels is irate as Huas walks away. Next week on Clash sees Kidman and Daniels tear the house down once again, but neither man is here to play after last week's actions. This is the hardest hitting and least amicable match of the bunch thus far. After a hard-hitting affair, Daniels hits Kidman with a Kid Crusher and goes for the pin. Without letting the referee see, Daniels puts his feet on the second rope to get more leverage. The referee counts to 3, and Daniels escapes the ring to get his championship as the ref calls for the bell, and Kidman ejects to the pinfall. The next week on Clash, Kidman goes to Arturo Huas to get this handled. He says that Daniels knows he can't beat Kidman. Kidman demands a rematch against Daniels. Huas agrees, says that this score still needs to be settled, so at No Remorse, we will find out who the better wrestler really is. So, best of 7. This is the 7th match. It's 3-3 tied up right now. Both men circle the ring before stepping to the center for a collar and elbow tie-up. Kidman transitions into a waistlock, and Daniels follows with a side headlock, followed immediately by a headlock takeover. Kidman answers with the head sealers, peeling Daniels' grip from his neck and head. Both men kip up and come face-to-face as Daniels starts trash-talking Kidman. Daniels pie-faces Kidman, and Kidman's eyes go wide with shock as Daniels pie-faces him for a second time. Kidman walks in a small circle looking to the ceiling, shaking his head in disbelief as he turns into a third pie face attempt from Daniels. But this time, Kidman intercepts the hand and follows up with a big right hand to the skull of Daniels, sending the fallen angel reeling. Kidman follows with a few quick knife-edge chops before sprinting the distance of the ring into the ropes and back, flattening Daniels with a running crossbody, instantly popping back up to his feet to the delight of the crowd. Kidman sizes Daniels up as he rises to his feet before leaping in onto the second rope and springboarding off for a springboard bulldog, but Daniels reverses at the last moment, countering it into a blue thunder bomb. Daniels wastes no time as he pulls Kidman to his feet and then over to the corner, where he begins laying into Kidman with stiff, knife-edge chops. Daniels steps away from Kidman momentarily to talk down to the crowd. Daniels returns his attention to Kidman, who ducks under a knife-edge chop, reversing positions with Daniels and begins laying into the fallen angel with chops of his own. After a flurry of chops, Kidman leaps up and cracks Daniel with a drop kick, sending the fallen angel crumbling to the canvas. Christopher Daniels slides under the bottom rope and crawls across the floor to the barricade. Kidman doesn't let his fallen foe recover as he sprints the distance of the ring and leaps between the second and third ropes to nail Daniels with a suicide dive, sending both men crashing into the barricade and onto the floor. As both men begin to rise to their feet, Kidman stumbles over and grabs hold of Daniels' head, but Daniels responds with a low blow, putting Kidman on his knees. Daniels pulls himself and Kidman back to their feet before repeatedly bashing Kidman's head onto the barricade and then hitting a hard Irish whip into the steel steps. Daniels tells the crowd to shut up as they begin to chant for Kidman. The crowd chants are clearly getting to Daniels as he starts stomping at Kidman viciously before climbing up to the apron. Daniels shouts that he can do anything that Kidman can do, and he can do it better. Daniels runs down the apron before leaping and hitting Kidman with a shooting star press off the apron to the floor. Christopher Daniels taunts the crowd before shoving Kidman back into the ring. Daniels follows him in and begins toying with the fallen Kidman, kick pushing his head and torso around as Kidman tries to crawl and rise to his feet. Christopher Daniels then pulls Kidman up and blasts him with a spin-out powerbomb. Daniels decides this isn't enough as he immediately pulls himself to his feet and hits a jackknife powerbomb on Kidman, slamming him into the canvas. Daniel again pulls Kidman to his feet, this time launching him into the corner with a buckle bomb that sees Kidman recoil out of the corner, landing hard on his face on the canvas. Daniel kick pushes Kidman's head again with his foot before switching to slaps to the back of the head as he belittles and berates Kidman. Daniels pulls Kidman to his feet and hoists him up for yet another powerbomb, but as he brings Kidman down, Billy Kidman does the impossible. He reverses the powerbomb into a Kid Factor sit-out facebuster, and both men are sprawled out on the ground. Kidman crawls to the ropes and then uses them to pull himself to his feet as Daniels slowly stumbles up in the center of the ring. Kidman uses the last bit of energy he has to leap to the second rope, bouncing up to the top rope and springboarding off for a double jump moonsault to Daniels. But Daniels catches him midair. Daniels shakes his head no as he signals for a tombstone piledriver, but Kidman slips over the shoulder and pushes Daniels into the ropes from behind. Kidman catches Daniels on the rebound with a BK bomb, lifting spinebuster, planting Daniels into the canvas. Kidman is on fire as he signals for the end and begins to scale to the corner to the top rope. When he reaches the top rope, Kidman signals to the crowd that the patented shooting star press was on the way. Kidman flips off the ropes and comes crashing down onto Daniels, but at the last moment, Daniels gets his feet up, busting the ribs of Billy Kidman. Kidman rises on the canvas, clutching at his ribs as Daniels slowly rises to his feet. Daniels looks down at the injured Kidman and dives down next to him and begins thrashing into the sides of Kidman's ribs with stiff knees. Daniels pulls Kidman to his feet, dragging him into the corner. Daniels hits Kidman with a snap suplex, smashing the spine and ribs of Kidman into the turnbuckles. Daniels pulls Kidman back to his feet before scaling to the top rope and dragging Kidman up after him. Daniels lifts Kidman's body into the air before leaping down to the mat with a sidewalk slam off the top rope, crushing the ribs and lungs of Kidman. Daniels slowly walks to the corner in the front of Kidman's body before leaping up, nailing him with a BME. Daniels makes the cover. 1, 2, no! Kidman kicks out at the last second, and Daniels is incensed. Daniels begins laying in stiff knees to the abdomen of Billy Kidman. Kidman shrivels into a heap on the ground. Daniels rips Kidman to his feet and nails him with an angel's wing, spinning sit-out, lifting double underhook facebuster. Daniels goes to cover Kidman, but stops and sits back on his knees before standing and absolutely throttling Kidman with stiff stomps to the midsections. Daniels shouts down at Kidman, "You're not better than me," as he resumes stomping Kidman's ribs. Daniels pulls Kidman up to the top rope with him. Daniels locks in the underhooks, and it looks like he's going for the Angel's wings off the top rope. But as he turns his body towards the ring, Kidman reverses midair, sending Daniels flying with top rope Frankensteiner, and both men are down and out in the center of the ring. Both guys crawl to the opposite corners and use the ropes to pull themselves to their feet. Both men stare each other down from across the ring, then screaming out in unison as they both sprint at one another and hit dual cross bodies, putting both men on the ground. Kidman writhes in pain, clutching his ribs on the canvas, and Daniels slowly crawls towards the ropes. Daniels uses the ropes to pull himself to his feet as he stumbles over to Kidman. Daniels goes to grab Kidman, but Kidman fights back, unloading big right hands on Daniels. Kidman continues with the right hands, sending the fallen angel reeling. Kidman locks in a dragon sleeper and nails Daniels with a BK facebuster. Kidman pulls Daniels to his feet and goes for the Kid Crusher, but Daniels pushes Kidman off, sending him Kidman sternum first into the turnbuckle as Daniels collapses on the mat behind him. Daniels crawls over to Kidman and starts laying in stiff knees to the abdomen again. Daniels slowly pulls Kidman to his feet before delivering a last rites rolling cutter to Kidman. Both men look like they have nothing left in the tank as the visibly exhausted Daniels says it's over. Daniels slowly drags Kidman up to his feet. The fallen angel signals for the end as he hits the cutthroat taunt before hoisting Kidman up for a tombstone piledriver. Before he can hit it, Kidman starts to squirm, slipping over the shoulder and behind Daniels. Kidman quickly transitions into the Kid Crusher, smashing Daniels' skull into the canvas under both of their body weights. Kidman looks over and sees a down Daniels. His eyes widen as he knows the end is drawing near. Kidman scurries to the ropes and drags his body up the turnbuckles onto the top rope. Billy Kidman poses on the top rope before leaping down and crashing into the body of Christopher Daniels with a shooting star press. Kidman hooks the legs, and it's 1, 2, 3. Billy Kidman wins the AMP championship. That's it.
I'll start this one. I think this one, whereas the last one you did had a lot of like personality and charm and things to it, this was the opposite. Like there was nothing. Like the match, I will give you the match was fire, but the actual story, I cared about neither one. Like, yeah, I get it's the who's gonna win out of the four out of three, or sorry, 4 out of 7.
Yeah.
But this was I'll give you. I'm gonna give you a straight 3, and that's just from the match. I think the story was just like, yeah, but that's all I got from it.
I'll say this is very AEW pilled, and I mean that in a good way. Because like this is where the story is told in the ring.
Yeah,
and
I
not
wanted
really on the microphone.
Yeah, not to cut you off. I wanted this to be different than I have a lot of like personal feuds or like you made me mad, so I'm mad. You know what I mean? Like this is just, like really for sport and one-upmanship.
This is
continue.
pure ball.
Yeah, right.
Pure hoops here. And I like that you established Daniels as the dickhead in the ring. So we still had a reason to cheer for Kidman. Like this is my shit. Like this is something I want to see in like a C2 or like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so in terms of like a very serious feud, this is how you do it. You just get 2 ballers and you just do the damn thing. It's not perfect because of like the lack of promo investment, but it is still very good. I'm giving this 4.5.
I'll take it. I'm mad at it. Mike, I think you wanted to go after Kenny, so you can go next.
I kind of agree with Kenny. Regardless of it being a good match, there was no personality in this, which is weird for 2 people that I think have, well, one person that has personality and the other one without the ribs taped,
I don't think either is very much.
I was gonna say I don't think either one of them has big personalities.
I think Christopher Daniels has personality, but whatever.
He has aura, but not personality.
Mm.
Like he has a cool look.
Agree to disagree, but either way, I think there could have been more in there. I don't weigh the match being as good as heavy as Kenny. I'm going with a 2.5.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with a 2.75. I don't know. I feel like it's hard coming off that last one, and then this I don't know. It was good. The response there, I liked the fact that it was 3-3 the battle, and then like in the match you also put in there with them like both being down and out in the corner of the rings. Like it was just like very tied throughout it. So
Yeah, I thought that was fire. I really like the spot where they're both half dead and they're just staring at each other across the ring and they're like, "Fuck it," and they both
because
run
like
at each other.
they've just been doing it for the the whole time.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I did like that part, and that was most of it. So
Okay.
So the match for me was a 5. The story, I will agree, like there isn't a lot of stories. Sometimes that's okay. Sometimes it's just they want to fight for a belt. Sometimes
but
that's all you need.
That can't be a 5.
I'm not saying it's a 5.
Yeah, I'm just saying. That's
So I'm gonna give this a 3.85.
Okay. Next one.
And now you have a reason for Billie Kidman's ribs to be taped.
I did that on purpose.
That's
I
what
worked
the
that
extra.
into the match.
That was the extra 10 cents was for.
Thank you. I worked it into the match that he worked his midsection and ribs, so that way he has a storyline reason to have his ribs taped.
So okay, I have 2 questions before I forget, and the one that I keep forgetting to ask this is ridiculous because it's going all the way back to the beginning. Is Dupree related to Maxine Dupree at all?
Huh?
Is there any relation?
No. There's
No.
They're not. Okay, sorry. I had that written down and I just kept.
They're
forgetting
not
to ask
spelled
it.
the same at all.
Yeah.
Okay. I just
Like
wanted to ask.
Renee's is like full on Dupree with an EE.
To be fair, Max Dupree and Maxine Dupree spelled their names differently too, and they were supposed to be brother
really?
and sister. Yeah.
Okay.
Damn, Vince was fucking dumb.
Yeah, it's just stupid. All right. So the first episode of Clash Season 2 opens up with an announcement from KOC benefactor Arturo Huas. Huas announces a 16-man single elimination tournament, pitting the top men in KOC against one another to determine the number 1 contender for the King of Combat, Hiroshi Tanahashi. That's the thing you heard earlier. Bam Bam Bigelow wins his first round matchup against Bobby Lashley in a true battle of behemoths. Later on in the first round of the tournament, Samoa Joe and Powerhouse Hobbs of the War Dogs lock horns. Hobbs shows a lot of promise for a young athlete, this tournament being the test of his career thus far. In the end, Samoa Joe's experience proves too much as he is able to choke the life out of Hobbs to win, or as he is able to reverse Hobbs's town business power slam and locks in the coquina clutch. Samoa Joe is able to choke the life out of Hobbs to win the match and advance to the next round. The same night, Powerhouse Hobbs' mentor and stable leader John Cena wins his round 1 tournament match against Alex Shelley to advance to the second round. The next week on Clash, we see John Cena with the War Dogs backstage. Cena looks at Hobbs first. What happened last week? You were given the opportunity of your career, and you squandered it. You can't beat Samoa Joe. I've been better than that guy since we both laced up our boots over in UPW. You had every advantage. Size, strength, speed, age, all of it! Yet you still came up short. I'm disappointed in you, Will. You know as well as I do that you are better than that. Cena turns his attention to the rest of the War Dogs, David Finlay, Gabe Kidd, and Jake Lee, as well as Hobbs. I didn't become the greatest of all time by squandering opportunities. You all will never rise to the top unless you're willing to step on every single person in your path. I expect you to make your presences felt tonight. Cena looks at Hobbs in his eyes, inches from his face. And I expect you to remind the world who the hell you are. The War Dogs don't have room in the pack for dogs scared to do what it takes to get the job done. Cena walks away with Hobbs looking embarrassed and enraged as the other three look on. The main event is a second round tournament match between Bam Bam Bigelow and Matt Cardona. Both men have some upsides in the match, but Bam Bam Bigelow seems to have the edge. Late in the match, Bigelow goes for a body avalanche to Cardona in the corner, but Cardona pulls the referee in the corner and ducks away at the last second, causing Bigelow to squash the referee in the corner. At this point, the War Dogs emerge from the audience and circle the ring. Each man takes one side of the ring, as Bigelow stands in the center confused, but ready to defend himself. and Cardona lays lifeless on the mat. Hobbs makes the signal, and all 4 men hit the ring. Bigelow tries to defend himself, but the numbers are too much. The War Dogs take Bigelow down after the assault. Hobbs calls the War Dogs back and begins to pick the bones himself. Hobbs pulls Bigelow to his feet and hoists him up before hitting Bigelow with a burning hammer. The War Dogs leave the ring and slowly slink back up the ramp. Cardona scrambles over and covers Bigelow as referee comes to. The still dazed ref counts to 3. Cardona eliminates Bigelow and moves on to the semifinals of the tournament. The next week on Clash, we see a pre-tape promo from Bam Bam Bigelow. Look, I don't care what your reasons are. I don't care that your bitch-ass Voss John Cena told you to make your name for yourselves. I don't give a damn. You messed up when you stuck your nose in my business, when you interfered in my match, and when you cost me my place in this tournament. You put me on the shelf. The doctors don't know when I'll be cleared, but when I am, I'm animal control because I'm going to put all you war bitches to sleep. Keep your head on a swivel because I'm coming for your asses. The following episode of Clash sees Hobbs and War Dogs in the ring for a promo. The crowd drowns them in boos as Hobbs smirks arrogantly. A couple of weeks ago, we showed the world we're not here to be second fiddle. We're here to dominate. John gave us a clear directive. Make our presence felt. And boy, did we do exactly that. Now there's always casualties to wars, so Bam Bam, don't take it personally. Look on the bright side. With you being out of action, maybe you can use this time to get your old fat ass in shape. The crowd boos vociferously. Shut your mouths. I am the future of this business, and I don't get my shot at being the best until we close the door on the past of this business and eradicate the so-called legends that clog the pipeline to the top. Let this be a warning to KOC. We run the yard now. Fall in line or get put on the shelf because the War Dogs are taking over. Later that night, John Cena faces off against Nick Aldis in the main event for a second round tournament matchup. The two put on a classic old school main event. Late in the match, Cena hoists Aldis up for an attitude adjustment, but Aldis slips behind. Aldis hoists Cena on his shoulders for a fireman's carry of his own. Aldis hits Tormentum for the 1-2-3. Aldis advances to the semifinals as John Cena is eliminated from the tournament. The next week, all 5 members of the War Dogs are in the ring for a promo. Cena places the blame for his loss on everything. Oh, I scrolled and lost my place. Cena places the blame for his loss last week on everything and everyone but himself. Cena vows to get the King of Combat Championship, and he vows to victimize anyone that dares to stand in his path. This brings Samoa Joe out to the back. Joe also lost his second round matchup last week against Josh Alexander. Joe tells Cena that the way he sees it, neither him nor Cena have anything to do, and since Joe already choked out Cena's lackey, maybe the two of them should scrap. Cena doesn't take the bait, instead telling Joe that he has no interest in fighting an old friend. But if Joe wants to fight, Hobbs has been looking for a rematch, setting up Powerhouse Hobbs versus Samoa Joe 2 next week on Clash. The next week sees Samoa Joe and Powerhouse Hobbs face off in a rematch from their round 1 matchup. Hobbs fights with purpose, brutalizing Joe whenever he has the opportunity, but Joe was the game opponent, matching Powerhouse's Hobbs' intensity and ferocity tenfold. Eventually, Joe ducks a lariat from Hobbs and answers with a savate kick as Hobbs turns to face him. Joe leaps on Hobbs' back and cinches the coquina clutch on the big man. Hobbs stumbles about before eventually dropping to one knee. Hobbs tries to power back up, but drops to his second knee. The camera closes in on Hobbs' face as it's clear that he's beginning to lose consciousness. Just as it looks like Hobbs is going to go down, the War Dogs pounce on Samoa Joe. Hobbs' faction mates come from out of nowhere to attack Joe as John Cena orchestrates the assault. Cena tells Hobbs to finish the job. Hobbs pulls Joe to his feet and goes to lift him to his shoulder for the burning hammer, but then Bam Bam Bigelow's music hits and the Beast from the East comes sprinting down the ramp. Cena is scrambling as he shouts orders. Jake Lee tries to cut Bigelow off halfway down the ramp, but eats a lariat for his troubles, turning Jake Lee inside out. Gabe Kidd and David Finlay jump to the outside to stop the Beast, but Bigelow blasts Gabe Kidd with a big boot, putting the War Dog to the floor. David Finlay swings the shillelagh wildly at Bigelow's skull, but Bigelow ducks under the attack and answers with a big right hand, sending Finlay stumbling. Back in the ring, Joe has used the distraction as time to recover and has now risen to his feet behind Cena and Hobbs, unbeknownst to the War Dogs leadership. Joe blasts Hobbs in his feet, in the back of the skull, knocking him to one knee. Joe then unloads on Cena with a flurry of strikes. Hobbs hits Joe with a double axe handle from behind to save Cena. But before he can capitalize, Bigelow hits the ring and starts unloading on Hobbs, sending the big man stumbling. Joe and Bigelow clear Cena and Hobbs from the ring, and the heels retreat back with the rest of their faction mates. Joe and Bigelow shout and call out to the War Dogs to get back in the ring and fight as the segment ends. The next week on Clash, the War Dogs are seen backstage cutting a promo. Hobbs begins first. Bigelow, you fat piece of shit. You think you can stick your nose in War Dogs' business? You think you can stick your nose in Powerhouse's business? You should have considered yourself lucky when I put you on the shelf, because at No Remorse, I'm going to put you in the ground. John Cena takes the mics from Hobbs and cuts a promo on Samoa Joe, challenging Joe to a match at No Remorse. Later in the night, we get a backstage promo from Bam Bam Bigelow responding to Hobbs. I came to KOC to rewrite history, to give myself a second chance, one last run at glory. I thought the KOC #1 Contenders Tournament was the perfect opportunity to prove once and for all that I am one of the greatest of all time. Then the War Dogs got involved. The War Dogs thought they could cost me my chances at the title. They thought they could put me on the shelf for weeks, and I would just take it lying down. Hobbs, you're dumber than I thought you were. Putting yourself on my radar, costing me my match, that was your first mistake. But challenging me to a match at No Remorse was your biggest one. I am more than you bargained for, young man, and I will stop at nothing to teach you a lesson. One torturous moment at a time. All right, time for the match. So the match begins, and both men come to the center of the ring and start trash talking. Both men shove one another back and forth before both men run to hit the ropes and smack into one another with body presses, but neither man stumbles. The two of them take turns running the ropes and crashing into the other with a body press, with neither man gaining the advantage. Finally, Hobbs hits the ropes and turns Bigelow inside out with a huge lariat. Hobbs beats on his chest and roars out to the crowd, I'm the big dog now! I run this place now! Hobbs returns his attention to Bigelow. Hobbs drops to one knee and starts throttling Bigelow with big right hands to the face. Hobbs then rips Bigelow to his feet and hard Irish whips him to the corner, where Bigelow hits the turnbuckle with such force the entire ring moves over an inch. Hobbs follows up with a stiff lariat into the corner and then drags Bigelow out to the center of the ring and hoists him into Hobbs' shoulder. Hobbs then runs and uses Bigelow as a battering ram, slamming him spine first into the corner. Hobbs then turns and runs the length of the ring to slam Bigelow spine first into the opposite corner. Hobbs finishes his assault with a running power slam. Hobbs rises to his feet and taunts his superiority to the crowd again. Hobbs pulls Bigelow to his feet, and Bigelow answers with an enziguri, sending Hobbs stumbling backwards. Bigelow pushes off the canvas to his feet and hits the ropes. Bigelow runs to the center and blows through Hobbs with a huge lariat, putting both men on the canvas. Bigelow rallies back to his feet, but hits the ropes and then crushes Hobbs with a running somersault senton. Bam Bam Bigelow keeps his momentum moving as he rolls under the bottom rope and onto the apron. Bigelow then slings himself over the top ropes and smashes Hobbs between his body and the canvas with a slingshot splash. Bigelow hooks the leg for the cover, but Hobbs powers out at 2.5. Bigelow starts stomping at Hobbs as Hobbs tries to work his way to a base, but it's only slowing the inevitable as Hobbs rises to his feet. Hobbs grabs Bigelow by the face and pushes him back into the corner with force, manhandling Bigelow in a way that we've never seen before this matchup. Hobbs blasts Bigelow with several right hands to the skull before jerking Bam Bam Bigelow into the air, spinning to the center of the ring, and planting him into the canvas with authority after a nasty spinebuster. Hobbs pulls Bigelow to his feet and hoists him up and over his shoulder. Hobbs then nails Bigelow with a town business, which is an over-the-shoulder sit-outside power slam. Hobbs goes for the cover, but Bigelow gets the shoulder up just before the 3 to the shock of the audience and Powerhouse Hobbs as well. Hobbs can't believe it, as he thought he had the match won. Hobbs lays in some stiff knees to the midsection of Bigelow and finishes off with several quick hard elbows to the skull. Hobbs pulls Bigelow to his feet and hits him with the world's most dangerous slam and goes for the cover. But again, a defiant Bigelow gets his arm up just before the 3. Hobbs pulls Bigelow to his feet and starts wailing on him with big rights and lefts, but Bigelow answers with some hard shots of his own. Bigelow catches some momentum and starts firing away at Hobbs, sending Hobbs stumbling backwards. Bigelow hits the corner, scaling to the top rope, and leaps off with a Bam Bam Salt onto Hobbs, sending both men crashing onto the canvas. Bigelow wastes little time as he rolls back into his feet and scales the turnbuckle once again, but this time leaps down with a diving headbutt to the skull of Hobbs. Bigelow, dazed and confused from his own offense, stumbles to his feet and pulls Hobbs to his feet as well, hoisting the big man onto his shoulders. Bigelow is setting up for greetings from Asbury Park, but Hobbs slips behind at the last second and blasts the big man with a lariat to the back of the skull. Hobbs drags Bigelow to the corner and pushes him up to a seated position atop the turnbuckles. Hobbs climbs to the second rope, grabs hold of Bigelow, and leaps off, hitting an avalanche power slam on Bam Bam Bigelow. Hobbs goes for the cover, but Bigelow gets his foot on the bottom rope just before 3 to keep the match alive. Hobbs starts arguing with the referee, stalking him down in the corner as he screams and points at the defenseless referee. Hobbs stands towering over the referee, who is cowering in the corner. Bigelow slowly stumbles to his feet and sneaks behind Hobbs. Bigelow spins Hobbs and hoists him onto his shoulder before spiking him into the canvas with greetings from Asbury Park over the shoulder pile driver. Hobbs bounces his skull off the mat, and Bigelow goes for the cover, but it's still not enough as Hobbs powers out just after the 2 count, shoving Bigelow's full body weight off of Hobbs' chest. Hobbs and Bigelow stand in the center of the ring trading blows, but Hobbs wins the exchange, nailing a big knee to the midsection of Bigelow. Hobbs then puts Bigelow on his shoulders and executes a burning hammer. Hobbs pins Bigelow for the victory. That's it.
I can go first.
go.
I'm gonna give this a 3.75. Like, I liked it for the most part. I will say, and I messaged this to myself. The animal control line was really good. I love that. That was fire. Overall, like, the story was good, not perfect or anything, and the match was really good. 2 meaty men slapping meat. I like that. So yeah, 3.75.
Okay. I'm just at a straight mid for a 3 for this one as well. This is another one where, just like the last match, in my opinion, where to me the match was better than the story. But yeah, I'm just at a straight 3 for this one as well.
I'm about the same. I'm 3. I liked it, but it wasn't perfect.
You're muted, Travis.
Where's John?
Yeah, he's been gone a minute.
He dropped out a minute ago.
He's crying.
Yeah, it's probably
There
like
he
one of
goes.
the worst matches he's ever heard in his life, and he had to
Man,
go.
fuck this guy. No, I'm kidding. Can you put me back on top?
Yep,
Thank
I
you.
think he's frozen.
he's frozen.
I think he's
Turn your
Move
camera
a
off
little bit.
if you have to, John.
He needs to learn about constitutional internet.
Did I miss the finish?
Yeah, I can tell you what it is. So
What is the
basically,
finish?
did you hear where he hits Asbury Park? No. Okay. Basically, Bam Bam Bigelow hits Powerhouse Hobbs with his finish. Hobbs powers out, kicks out anyway. They go into like a last-ditch effort of like trading blows in the middle of the ring. Hobbs gets the advantage, hits him with the burning hammer for the pin and the win.
Okay. I like this story. I think its weak point was like mostly on Bam Bam's side. Like, his promos didn't hit for me, but like I liked all the War Dogs drama. Like I'm interested to see where that faction goes. I liked Cena's promo work. I liked the match. Okay. Um, I'm gonna give this. I'm gonna give this a 4 just because I'm really interested to see where it goes.
I appreciate that, John. All right, I guess that
Um,
leaves
The War
Joel.
Dogs in this are cool. Bam Bam's whatever, but I want to see where that faction goes.
John been trying to make up for that 0. These good ass scores he gave you.
I was not ready for John Cena to be in a faction. I don't think I've ever seen that.
I don't
Obviously
think it's ever happened.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That
not
makes
on
sense,
like on Nexus technically, but not really.
Yeah.
It just caught me off guard. I was like thinking about it when it happened. I was like, shit, have I ever seen that? You're lucky I'm not gonna charge a tariff on your money I'm sending over to you for saying you big fat bastard or whatever you said. You said something against my people, and I didn't like that.
My bad, Joe.
I'm not gonna.
You're one
been
of the good
good
ones,
with, like-
Joe.
I'm not gonna charge you the $1 for that though. I just wanted to, this is your warning.
Fuck fat people.
But I'm gonna go with 3 on this one.
Okay.
Right.
No, 3.
So we speak American over here.
Wee.
All right, last match. Let's get it. It's the main event. All right,
No, it's not.
that's the main event of night 1.
Yeah.
Fresh off capturing the International Women's Championship from Kairi Sane, thanks to help from Awesome Kong and Tyra May Steele, Trish Adora is in the ring with her newfound
change the background.
allies. Oh, my bad. You're right.
Well, she got these big meaty men up here talking about women.
I was confused for a second.
Thank you, Kenny. Good looking out.
I got you. I got you.
So Trish Adora is in the ring with her newfound allies in the International Women's Championship, of course. Last Sunday, the world of KOC was uprooted and flipped upside down. For too long, we have been told we are insignificant. For too long, we have been told that we are here to make you look better. For too long, we have become an accessory to the world and not individuals deserving of the privilege of singularity. For far too long, we have been oppressed, trampled down like unkempt grass under the feet of soldiers marching an invasion. Stifled like a flame denied oxygen, we fell to our knees and we bowed to you fools for far too long. It is time for my people to rise. Trish Adora's eyes are wide and her face is painted with vitriol as she spits venom with her words at the audience. Adora then turns and points to Awesome Kong. This is Amani Zuberi, but you call her Kong! Amani means peace. Zuberi means power. And by taking her name, you've stripped her of both. And for what? To leave her with the name of an ape. To belittle her, to ridicule her, to humiliate her on a world stage because the pain you've caused our people is just not enough. Adora then steps over to Steel. An Olympic champion. The first Olympic champion in her sport that looked like her. A hero to her nation. A nation that when she shouted that her life matters, they replied, silly girl, they all matter. She changed the world forever, but came home to a nation that refused to change for her. Adora steps back to the center of the ring. You cheer for us when we win you medals for your nation. You cheer for us when we sacrifice our bodies for you. You cheer for us when we sing and we dance. You cheer when we create the culture that you love to steal, but you boo us when we ask for freedom. You boo us when we ask for equality. You boo us when we ask for representation. You boo us when we ask for humanity. Adora pauses for a moment to let her words sink in. I am here to tell you we are the Black Lotus, and we're done asking.
BOA, BOA.
I was gonna say, hearing that promo and see that white woman with her tongue out like that.
Oh, just you wait. She about to light her ass up.
She's like, "Hey guys,
um,
I love black people."
Adora drops the mic, and all three women stand with a fist in the air. Later on in the night, former International Women's Champion Kairi Sane faced off against Jamie Hayter and Billie Starkz. The three women have a fast-paced matchup that sees Billie Starkz win with a roll-up on Jamie Hayter. The next week, we once again get a promo from International Women's Champion Trish Adora and Black Lotus. Adora paces the ring before beginning to speak. Last week, I introduced you to the new regime of KOC. I told you we were done asking, because now we hold the cards. Now we sit in the driver's seat. Now we call the shots. I have been pushed aside all of my life. For what? For the Rhea Ripleys of the world, the Toni Storms, the Trish Stratuses, the Charlotte Flairs, and the Sunnies. Am I not pretty enough for you, America? Does the ebony painted across my body make your skin crawl to the point of denying my talent?
Raven?
I am 36 years old, and this is the first major title I have ever won, and why? Sorry that my characters have depth, Mike. Not because I am not good
sounds like
enough.
Raven again.
All right. Not because I am not good enough, but because I was never given the opportunity. See, white America believed I was good enough to die for them in foreign lands, defending freedoms and rights that I never had the pleasure of enjoying. But yet, white America never wanted to see Trish Adora fight for a championship because my face don't look like hers. Because my body curves differently from that woman's. Because my hair stands on its own, and they don't want to see anything black standing on its own. But more so than that, more so than anything else, they don't want to see anything black standing together. Adora purses her lips as her eyebrows furrow. We are not an afterthought. I have spent my entire life thinking that I was lesser than these women. That I was an afterthought. We are power. We are beauty. We, like our people, are inevitable. Again, the promo ends with three women standing in solidarity with their fists in the sky. The next week on Clash, Billie Starkz goes one-on-one with Shayna Baszler. Starkz does her best to defend against the onslaught that Baszler forces on her, but the experience and sheer brutality of Baszler prevents Starkz from being able to string too much together. Shayna eventually locks Billie Starkz in the rear naked choke, but Billie looks like she's going to pass out, but in a last-ditch effort, Starkz bridges up, pinning Shayna Baszler's shoulders to the mat in the process. The referee counts the pin, and Billie Starkz wins. Shayna Baszler argues with the referee while Billie Starkz coughs and gasps for air on the canvas. Backstage after the match, Arturo Huas passes Black Lotus in the hall and makes an offhand remark that if Billie Starkz keeps finding these innovative ways to win her matches, Trish Adora might have to keep her eye on her. After Huas walks away, Trish Adora looks at Tyra May Steele and tells her to handle it, which receives a nod in return from Steele. The following week on Clash is official. Tyra May Steele going one-on-one with Billie Starkz. Steele dominates the match, tossing Starkz from pillar to post with stiff suplexes and Greco-Roman throws. Steele isn't looking for a victory. She's looking to dominate. And what's more, she's looking to humiliate Billie Starkz. Steele's wrestle circles around Starkz, making her look foolish, embarrassing the young woman. In the end, however, Billie Starkz is able to find a way to win, reversing a German suplex with a rolling forward pinning Tyra May Steele in the process. The following week on Clash, we see Black Lotus backstage as Tyra May Steele is looking dejected as she bows her head, and Trish Adora paces the floor in front of her with indignation painted across her face. Adora stops in front of Steele, staring a hole through her as her brow furrows and her nostrils flare. Steele stares at her feet, and her body begins to fold in on itself from fear as Adora begins to speak. I gave you a direct order. I told you to handle this problem. Look at me! Adora shouts with vitriol as she grabs Steele by the jaw, forces her to look at Trish in the eyes. Yet you let that creature beat you last week. You disappointed me. You disappointed our ancestors. You are unfit to call yourself Nubian.
How dare you lose to that swine? Amani!
Adora tosses Steel's face away as she turns her attention to Amani Zuberi.
My mightiest lioness, bring me her head.
Amani Zuberi silently nods at Adora's request. The next week on Clash, Billie Starkz goes head-to-head against the lioness, Amani Zuberi. Zuberi dominates Starkz in the match, ragdolling her across the ring, tossing her over the rope to the floor with a military press slam. Zuberi continued her onslaught, slamming Starkz into the barricade and steel steps before tossing Stark's lifeless body back into the ring. Zuberi begins to remove the top turnbuckle pad, but the referee tries to stop her. Zuberi tosses the referee aside, making the referee stumble between the ropes and fall to the floor. Zuberi removes the turnbuckle and returns her attention to the fallen Starkz, but she realizes the referee is down and on the outside, giving Zuberi an opportunity to inflict even more punishment on Starkz. Zuberi leaves the ring to retrieve a steel chair. Zuberi stalks Starkz down, toting the steel chair in hand. Starkz is beginning to pull herself up to her feet using the ropes to aid her. Zuberi lifts the steel chair overhand and swings it down towards Starkz. Billie sees the attack coming and rolls forward in a somersault on the canvas to dodge the strikes. Zuberi smashes the chair into the top rope. It rebounds and cracking the lioness in the face. Zuberi stumbles backwards but regains her composure, lifting the chair to strike, but Starkz counters with a big boot, smashing the chair into Zuberi's face again. Zuberi drops the chair and stumbles backwards. Zuberi nearly leaves her feet, but collapsing to the ropes. Zuberi bounces off the ropes and stumbles back to her feet. Billie Starkz follows with a drop kick to the back, sending Zuberi crashing face first into the corner. Zuberi smacks her skull off the exposed turnbuckle and falls backwards onto the canvas. Billie Starkz sees her opportunity. She rushes over to the corner and scales the post to the top turnbuckle. Starkz leaps from the top rope and crashes into Amani Zuberi with a swanton bomb. Starkz goes for the cover. The referee rolls back in and counts the 1, 2, 3. Starkz gets her hand raised as Trish Adora stands on the stage, wide-eyed in shock that Starkz has slain the lioness. On the next episode of Clash, we see Billie Starkz thanking people backstage for congratulating her on her recent success, with one staff member even telling her she's a shoo-in for a shot at the International Women's Championship. Billie thanks everyone and says she's actually on her way to speak with Arturo Huas now. Billie Starkz leaves the group and heads down a corridor. The second Starkz is alone, out of nowhere, Black Lotus strikes. Zuberi and Steel are assaulting Starkz ruthlessly, slamming her into the concrete walls and floor. In the end, they leave the upstart in a bloody heap as Adora saunters into the scene. Zuberi and Steel hold the lifeless Starkz up as Adora chastises her.
You thought you were so clever, didn't you, creature? You thought you had it all figured out because this game was designed for you, not us. I am sick and tired of your people thinking they have all the answers. What happens when my people change the question? What happens when my people play by the rules your people have played by for centuries?
Adora grabs hold of Stark's lower jaw and positions her bloody face to look up at Adora as she speaks. Adora holds Stark's skull in place as she lowers her own to be merely inches away.
How dare you assume you deserve to be paired against a talent such as myself? For 36 years, I have sacrificed, I have fought, I have scratched, clawed, and dragged myself through the fire for this.
Adora holds her title to the side of Stark's face.
Yet a child like yourself believes that you can do more, believes that you deserve more than I did. 21 years on this planet, and the privilege you've been granted has gone to your head. You're a fool. Your privilege will not serve you any longer. If you want a shot, you will earn it through pain, sacrifice, and humiliation, just as my people have had to do for all of recorded history.
Adora tosses Stark's face away before shouting at Zuberi and Steel to bring her to her feet. Adora tosses the title to the floor and walks a few steps from Starkz before turning and sprinting at her. Zuberi and Steel shove Starkz forward towards the oncoming Adora, and Adora turns her inside out with Lariat Tubman. The following week on Clash, Black Lotus makes their way to the ring for a promo. Trish Adora is smiling ear to ear with a toothy grin as she begins the promo.
I told you all, we're done asking. I told you we weren't wasting anymore. We weren't waiting anymore. And we're damn sure not taking your orders anymore. Last week we showed the world what happens when you try to clip a Black Lotus from the stem. You are the one that is tossed to the wayside. You are the one that is violated. And you are the one that loses their head. Adora cackles at the last sentence, but snaps back to a sobering reality as Billie Starkz' music fills the arena. Adora's eyes widen as she whips her head to the stage, seeing a defiant Billie Starkz walking through the curtain into the ring. Starkz steps through the ropes and walks right up to Adora. I don't know what I did to you to make you hate me so much. I don't know why you're so upset with that I'm doing well in my matches. I don't know why you can't stand me. I just know that I can beat you. I know that I can win that title. I know that you have these goons here to make your life easier, but the issue is, if I have air in my lungs, I will continue to fight. If I have blood in my veins, I will continue to fight. And if my bones will hold me, I will stand across from you and I will give you the fight of your life. Trish Adora stares blankly with almost a hint of disgust on her face before bursting out into a devious cackle. Creature! You really believe that, don't you? Adora exclaims amidst her cackle. And to think, people allege that mine had the smaller brains and are intellectually inferior. Yet here you stand to prove your ancestors wrong. It's just like your people to come out and say they don't understand our anger. They don't understand our pain. They don't understand why we shout. They don't understand why we cry. They don't understand our plight. They don't understand why we inflict violence on our oppressors and why we take what is rightfully ours. The reason you don't understand... Ah, shit, I messed it. Hold on.
Damn it.
The reason you don't understand is because you turn a blind eye to your own history. My history is your history. Two sides of the spectrum, two ends of the same chain. The difference with mine was wrapped around my hands while you held the chain inside yours. Adora stares daggers through Starkz. His Black Lotus begins to circle the ring unbeknownst to Starkz, who is locked in eye to eye with Adora. You were foolish to come here tonight, creature. Last week we left you with dignity. I offer no further concessions. Zuberi, Steel, pounce! At the sound of Adora's commands, Steel dives in from behind with a chop block, cutting the knee of Starkz away. Zuberi follows with a stiff double axe handle to the spine of Starkz, flattening the babyface to the canvas. Zuberi and Steel take turns battering Billie Starkz before hitting her with a blackout, which is the military press slam from Zuberi into a springboard cutter caught out of midair from Steel. Finally, Amani Zuberi hoists Starkz onto there's your favorite word, Kenny.
Hoist!
Shoulders for Amani, for an Amani bomb. Trish Adora hits the ropes, then nails Starkz with the lariat Tubman as Amani simultaneously hits an Amani bomb. Steel immediately follows with a middle rope springboard moonsault to complete the trifecta called the Black Lotus Bomb. Ariel Helwani sits down with International Women's Champion and head of Black Lotus Trish Adora on the next episode of Clash. After Ariel Helwani introduces Adora to the audience and thanks her for taking time to speak with him, but before he can ask his first question, Billie Starkz leaps from the shadows and attacks Trish Adora. The two women brawl around the KOC TV studios, knocking over monitors and stage props. Security and officials rush the set to try and separate the two, but they can't seem to pull the two women apart. During the tug of war to separate the two, Adora lands a stiff headbutt, busting Billie Starkz open. Starkz stumbles back, and security is able to finally create some separation. The segment ends with Stark's face covered in blood and Trish Adora wide-eyed with a wicked smile painted across her face, both women screaming at each other. Later in the week, Arturo Huas announces that Trish Adora will defend her International Women's Championship against Billie Starkz in the main event of Night 1 of No Remorse. On the next episode of Clash, Billie Starkz makes her way to the ring. Starkz picks up a microphone and begins to speak to the people. For weeks, I have been attacked, I have been belittled, and I have been humiliated by Trish Adora and Black Lotus. For weeks, I have begged for an explanation. Why do you hate me so bad, Trish Adora? Why? But now, I'm over it. I don't care why you don't like me because I know exactly why I hate you. You hide behind your faction even though you don't need to. You are an incredible performer between these ropes, and you could have won that title by yourself, but you took the easy way out. You were too much of a coward to face Kairi Sane by yourself at Kingdom Come. So you had your hit women take her out, and now she's on the shelf, and who knows when she will be back. You saw me rising up the ranks, and you were too much of a coward to face me head on. So what do, Trish? You sent Amani Zuberi and Tyra May Steele to jump me in a hallway, and then once you did your dirty work, you picked my bones and claimed your dominance. Trish, I think you're pathetic. I pity you. But at No Remorse, I don't care if you bring Zuberi and Steele. I don't care if you try to take every shortcut you can think of, and I don't care how bad you hate me. At No Remorse, I am going to beat you. I'm going to beat you, and I'm going to take the International Women's Championship. As she finishes her sentence, Black Lotus music hits, and the trio steps out onto the stage. Trish Adora stares down the stage at Billie Starkz. Creature, you still just don't get it. How dare you? How dare you tell me I take shortcuts when my people have had to take the longest path to success of all? How dare you criticize my decisions without thinking of how we got here to begin with? How dare you stand up there and lecture me, you child? You don't comprehend the weight of your ancestors' decisions and the ripples that will still shake our world to this day. Yet, you think you can comprehend me. You think you can comprehend my pain, my journey, my plight! Creature, at No Remorse, I will have just that. No remorse for the torture I inflict upon you. I need to prove a point. I need to show how strong my people are, and by breaking you with only a fraction of the violence that has been levied against us for centuries. And yet we still rise! And No Remorse, you better bring every ounce of venom you supposedly hold for me, because if you don't, I will tear your skull from your shoulders. The match begins, and Adora and Starkz come face to face, and Adora is trash-talking Starkz. Adora then pie-faces Starkz, shoving her stumbling back. Starkz has an incredulous look on her face before turning back and blasting Adora with a big right hand to the face, following immediately with four more before hitting Adora with a jawbreaker and a spinning back kick, sending Adora to the canvas. Adora quickly rolls out of the ring and into the arms of her comrades, Zuberi and Steele. As Zuberi and Steele help Adora regroup, Starkz continues her assault with a tope suicida to the group of women, knocking Adora and Steele to their feet and to the floor. Knocking Adora and Steele off their feet into the floor and sends Zuberi stumbling back, catching herself on the barricade. Starkz pops up to her feet and hypes the crowd before grabbing hold of Trish Adora and shoving her back in the ring. Adora crawls to the referee and climbs up her body to try to hide behind the referee from Starkz, distracting the referee in the process. As the referee tries to peel Adora off of her, Starkz climbs on the ring apron, but a close-up shows her face go from joy and determination into shock and fear as she is pulled from the ring apron by Zuberi. Amani Zuberi wraps her hands around the throat of Billie Starkz, hoisting her into the air, and slams her to the floor with a two-handed chokeslam. Zuberi then tosses Starkz back into the ring. Adora then tosses the referee to the side and jumps on top of Starkz, hitting her with repeated forearms and smashes to the skull. Adora grabs hold of the hair of Starkz and begins bashing the back of her head on the canvas repeatedly as the referee pries her off of Starkz. Adora doesn't want to let her momentum slip, so she hits the ropes and follows up with a running senton to Starkz. Adora pulls Starkz to her feet and Irish whips her into the ropes, catching Starkz with a pump kick and on the rebound, sending Starkz to the canvas. Adora follows up by locking Starkz in a double underhook and wrenching the submission hold cattle mutilation. Starkz writhes and shouts out in pain. Adora sinks the hold deeper, and Starkz begins kicking and screaming. Starkz begins stretching her foot out towards the ropes, desperate for an escape. Finally, Starkz gets a toe on the bottom rope, hooks it, and pulls herself closer to the rope, forcing a rope break. Adora maintains her grip on the hold until just before the referee reaches the count of 5. Adora begins to argue with the referee before returning her attention to Billie Starkz. As Starkz gets to her feet and turns towards Adora, Trish Adora flattens her with a running crossbody.
Adora pulls Starkz to her feet and goes for a power bomb, but only gets halfway up before Starkz flutters her feet to block Adora's lift. Adora tries again, but again Starkz thwarts her. After a third failed attempt from Adora, Starkz is able to hoist Adora onto her shoulders before running to the corner and hitting Adora with an Alabama slam into the turnbuckle, in turn sending Adora crashing into the canvas face first. Starkz is fired up as she gets the crowd on the feet and behind her. Starkz sizes Adora up as Adora slowly rises to her feet. Starkz grabs a hold of Adora. Starkz nails Adora with a vertical suplex and then spins herself to her feet, dragging Adora with her, hitting a second consecutive vertical suplex. Starkz again swivels her hips to her feet and pull Adora from the canvas. See, white girl stealing a Hispanic man's moveset. We can't root for her. Where was that? Head first onto Starkz lifts Adora into the air for a vertical suplex, stumbles around the ring for a quick steps, but finally Starkz drops Adora head first onto Stark's knee to a kneecap brainbuster. Starkz scrambles to cover Adora for the pinfall, but Adora is able to get her shoulder up to break the count just before 3. Starkz pulls Adora to her feet and Irish whips her into the corner. Starkz goes to the opposite corner and then sprints over to Adora, but Adora explodes out of the corner and flattens Starkz with a big boot. Adora pulls Starkz to her feet and props her up in the corner. Adora then backs into the opposite corner before sprinting over and flattening Starkz with a body avalanche. Starkz collapses into a seated position in the corner. Adora runs and bounces off the ropes before crashing into the skull of Starkz with a running hip attack into the corner. Adora wastes little time moving on to the next step of her onslaught, grabbing hold of Stark's ankle and jerking her into the air before slamming her down with an alley-oop bomb. Adora immediately grabs hold of the ankle and sinks in an ankle lock, grapevining the leg as Starkz shouts out in pain. Starkz tries to crawl towards the ropes, but Adora cranks the ankle harder. Eventually, Starkz is able to get her fingertips to the ropes, finally breaking the hold. Adora breaks the hold and paces in a circle in the center of the ring as Starkz struggles to pull herself to her feet. As Starkz turns to go to the center of the ring, Adora goes for a snap DDT, but Starkz gets her hands out in front of her to block the DDT. Starkz hits a front handspring to roll out of the move and subsequently hit the ropes. Just as Starkz is coming back to the center of the ring, Adora has made it to her feet, and Starkz nails Adora with a big boot. Starkz then pulls Adora to her feet and whips her into the corner. Starkz then hoists Adora up onto the rope and then onto her shoulders before hitting a Sugoi. I don't know if that's how you say that. Sugoi driver, Sugoi. And going for the pin. But it's not enough as Adora is able to narrowly get her shoulder up just before the 3 count. Starkz knows what she has to do to put Adora away and take the International Championship home. Starkz jumps through the ropes and out onto the apron and begins to slowly pull herself to the top rope. But before she can leap off, Tyra May Steele climbs up on the apron and grabs hold of Stark's shin, wrapping both of her arms around the base of the leg of Starkz. The referee rushes over and pries Steele off of Starkz and chastises Steele, who argues with the referee on the apron. Meanwhile, Starkz leaps off the rope for a swanton bomb and crashes into Trish Adora with so much force that both women bounce off the canvas, and Starkz lands a few feet away from Adora. As Starkz starts to crawl over to Adora, the camera focuses in on her face for a close-up, and then her momentum stalls, and her face once again fills with fear as she is pulled backwards away from the camera. The camera switches as we see Amani Zuberi pulling Starkz out of the ring before crushing her with an Amani bomb on the floor and tosses her back into the ring. Tyra May Steele sees this and immediately stops arguing with the referee and drops from the apron to the floor. The referee turns around to see both Starkz and Adora down and out on the canvas. The referee checks both women and then begins to count to 10 for a double knockout. Adora pulls herself to the count of 7 to stop the count. Adora crawls into the corner and has her eyes locked on Starkz. Starkz slowly pulls herself to her feet as Adora sizes her up. Starkz stumbles to the center and turns to face Adora, who explodes out of the corner and turns Starkz inside out with a lariat Tubman for the pin and the win to retain the International Women's Championship and end night 1. That's it.
Okay. So, Adora carries by a lot. Like Starkz, like I get the the baby face stick she's doing. Like it's classic. I care less about her than I did Trish.
That's
Which
fair.
obviously understandable.
Billie Starkz was
Um,
an accessory in this
right,
story.
yeah,
She was a
that makes sense. Yeah, she's just a baby face for her to beat. And I will say I kind of wish that this match and the Russian chain match weren't on the same card because they
That's fair.
both kind of hit the my people thing, which I think it would be better if they were on different cards or different
That's
nights.
fair.
I should say. Um, I also wish that instead of when uh Tyra May Steele lost, when she was looking down, if Trish had told her essentially instead of yelling at her, essentially it was lift your head up, like you're a black princess, you don't look down even though you lost, you instead of just berating her. I would have preferred that. Um Overall though, the match is good. The right person won. I'm gonna give this a 4.
Okay.
Um,
I'm just
so-
gonna echo
oh.
that and also say a 4.
I liked the way he portrayed both characters in this.
Thank you.
I felt bad for Billie Starkz in this. So it's kind of like, damn, like Trish is right, but why are you taking it out on me?
Of course
Like,
you
you know-
would.
That's
Oh.
why he didn't show his face the whole time. He said, "Oh."
Ah.
But
When
no,
Travis hit that all lives matter, John, that's when John peaked, that's when he put his fist up.
He was like, looked up like, yes.
Like that's
no,
Some of
it's
those
like,
promos in there almost had him busting out a 0 again.
I'm sorry, this is too woke. I should have used my 0 on this. But no, I liked it. It portrayed a nice dilemma of the heel is right, but still being a dickhead, and the baby face, is against somebody who's right, but still didn't do anything wrong. So,
You see the vision.
I am gonna give this a 4.5. And with how good I rated the rest of your show, I'm glad I found something I hated this night because, dear God, the rest of this show is scary good.
Joe or Kenny?
I'll go.
I thought he was still going.
Yeah, I thought that was like a
He's
weird
kind of a prep.
cutoff, so I just. I
I was
assumed he
gonna
was
say
still going.
Travis got 25 more matches to screw up.
So I'm gonna give it a 3.25. I really like the promo work in there.
That's a good score to you?
What?
What's your
That's
negatives?
that's a good score to me. Have you seen what I get?
You said 3.25?
Me?
Yeah.
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 So what took off of 1.75? You only gave me positive feedback.
I don't know. I wasn't super into the matches, the ring work. I don't know. Ring work's hard for me. I feel like it's more of a story. Is what gets me. But the promos are really good. So
Yeah, John definitely.
it kept me more
Joe
interested.
definitely.
Yeah,
was
Joe
like,
was everything you accused me of being. He was like,
all lives matter.
All right. I did like this. I did really like this.
Thank you.
I do agree with what John said about how the way you did it for Billie Starkz. It was nice to feel bad for her because she's like, okay, technically I didn't do anything wrong. Like I get what you're saying, but you
Yeah.
hurt me for something I had nothing to do with. But yeah, so I didn't really enjoy that. Nitpicking, a couple things in the promo. I was like, eh. But I'm at a 4.5. I thought it was
take it.
really good.
I'll take it. Joe is the lowest rater on Pro Black.
Joe got offended when you said creature. He's
By,
definitely
not
right-
just the lowest rater, but the lowest rater by a lot.
He's gonna
Okay,
write about it on
creature.
this town.
I feel like
Creature.
He's gonna write about it on this town board.
No. That's crazy.
no, he's
Say.
writing a Truth Social post right now.
Here's my thing though, because that Rude match was so good that I was just that was in my head for the rest of the night. So it was hard to I don't know, like I wasn't popping for any of the other ones, even close to that.
So you did too good too early.
I
Yeah.
guess that's
The
crazy.
room
Like,
match
I-
made
that-
everything else better for me.
Yeah, I don't
I
know.
was
Like,
I'm
I
just
feel
glad
like
I get
that,
to hear
I
a
feel like that
promo without
affected the
Chugga
rest of my
Chugga in
scores.
it.
You said what?
I was saying I feel like it affected like the rest of the matches going after that.
That's that's crazy. But
Hey, I'm just saying I really enjoyed that.
That was his main event.
Yeah, that was my main event. I'll be remembering that forever.
insane. Well, that's
Joe
BookIt.
paid
Bye.
for all 3 nights, but only stayed for that match. After that match, he left.
He's literally drawn in by the Rude ones. Joe's the one who bought Rude coin. He's the one who fucking watched Rude Love. All that shit. He's the
Got a
consumer.
lifetime membership on the train.
Yeah.
Chugga,
Chugga,
chugga, chugga,
chugga. He's the only one who bought the Chugga Chugga t-shirt.
chugga.
Hey,
Hawkshop.com.
Hey,
Damone?
I'd get that shirt.
Damone, I want to
Yes.
thank you. I just looked at the scores for all this. I mean, like, I know what the scores are as you're giving them. You guys are giving them to me, but like,
Right.
it's hard to know what that is doing for me overall.
Yes.
Damone gave me a 4.42 tonight.
I was gonna say Damone was
Like your
loving your
show.
show.
Yeah, he's sucking it from the back.
If John
That's
didn't give me a 0, I mean, even a fucking 0.5 would have been up it. He's at 3.45, but he gave me all 4s and everything else. So
That's what I was saying. The show was scary good, so I'm glad that something was ass. Like,
Where? Where what was ass?
really good.
I hated that shit, but everything else was Pete.
I feel like this will be something that John will listen to in like 2 months and be like, you know what? I
This is
was
great.
wrong. It wasn't that bad.
But when I say that, you know what I mean? No, I don't feel like I'll be wrong about this, but I feel like the act will grow on me. It's like Dance Theory. I contest that I hated Dance Theory at first, but it got better.
I contest that this is the worst thing you're going to hear. I contest that this is the worst thing you heard in round 1. So fuck you. But-
Hey, I'm ready for Giant Gonzalez versus Big Show.
I was gonna say he was that Giant Gonzalez.
you
Whenever
ain't
Big Show
getting it
gets
for a
up, it's
while.
over for you hoes.
You ain't getting it for a while. It's got a bill.
Giant.
All right, let's wrap this sucker up. We
Yeah,
don't need
he
to worry about
really
finding
thought
a
that
high
was
five mic.
worse than my Giant Gonzalez.
So fuck Mike. D Money, where can we find you?
You can find me on anything not owned by Elon Musk at DumbMoneyT13, DAMONEYT13. Yeah, fuck Elon Musk.
And Bad Guy, tell 'em about your 37 shows.
Catch me on all social medias at Bad Guy Spoken. And you catch the Bad Guy Spoken podcast on YouTube's. And you can also catch Hood Movie Review on the same channel.
And Travvy, tell us where to find you.
You can follow me on all social media at I am Travvy T. That is at IAMTRAVVYT on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube's, the Threads. I'm on Blue Sky. I don't even have the app downloaded.
I
on
haven't
an app
opened
called-
it in forever.
I'm on an app called Billie. It's about food. It's for foodies. Come
Mm.
follow me.
Hey, build it.
I'm on a different app called Belly. I want to see motherfuckers that look like Joe.
I did not think. Wait, what?
Like, what is going on?
I was gonna tell a joke, and then I'm like, wait, what did he say?
I just want to make y'all
Oh,
sick.
That was nasty.
Speaking of motherfuckers that look like Joe, where can we find you?
You can catch me on the Rude train. I'll be over in the corner playing this new Tops WWE game that these guys got me into.
Hell yeah. And just a reminder to check out T1, the number, spell out the word 3, media.com. Find our merch, find our shows, check out all that good shit. You can have a shirt of any member of the BookIt cast or of any of our other shows. And with that said, that's been an episode of BookIt. See ya.
Bye.